Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we're going to continue talking about Transit Love Season 2, Episode 3.
That's right. The people have spoken.
Sarah, how you feeling after watching this episode?
Ooh, things got spicy. Still no dates, but spicy. So, I was a little annoyed that I couldn't just watch the next episode, honestly.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it would ruin the whole way we
true
record.
to the format, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, we did a Twitter poll to see what people wanted to listen to, and what was the result, Sarah?
Overwhelmingly, the results were Transit Love 2, Episode 3.
Okay.
It was like 85% of the votes.
I have a feeling that the majority of our audience wants us to completely do all of Transit Love Season 2.
Yeah, that tracks. But I will say there were at least 3 votes for It Doesn't Matter to Me. So I think that they are now my favorite listeners because they just like us regardless. So shout out to you folks. Unless they were random people on Twitter who happened to cross the poll and mess that up. I'm going to pretend it's just people who like us. Yeah.
Yeah, there's as good of a chance as it's just people that don't even know what this podcast is and just clicked I don't care.
No. I'm doubling down. It's just there's 3 people who just really like us.
Yeah. So something spicy happens at the end of this episode, Sarah. I feel like most of our listeners have already watched the show.
Yeah.
But I know my sister is listening to this podcast and enjoying it, and she has not watched the show.
Oh, okay. Like, has not watched the show and continues to not watch the show, just enjoys listening to us
at
talk
least
about
not
it?
yet. Last time I talked to her, she had not started watching it.
Okay.
So for her sake, let's just go through like chronologically.
Yeah. We'll save the spice till the spice happens.
I'll save all the comments that I have on this. I think I'm gonna have a different perspective than most people at the end of this.
Interesting.
We received a lot of comments after we did our first 2 episodes of like people saying like, oh, something explosive is gonna happen, or like something's gonna happen that's gonna make your blood boil and stuff like that. Do you think it's this episode they were talking about?
Maybe. But some of them also said it was like the season's like a roller coaster and it felt like things do keep happening. So I don't think this is a one-off spicy moment.
Yeah.
It might not even be the spiciest.
It's not like, like I don't feel angry, but I do have like stuff to say about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this is what it was that everybody was talking about. So I'm expecting more to come for this show, but yeah.
All right.
We'll see. You just want to get into this? No,
let's do it.
You don't have any personal recommendations or anything like that? No,
nothing interesting going on right now.
Okay.
It's all about this show at this exact moment.
All right, let's just get into it. We're gonna start.
It's finally the day 2.
It's finally.
Oh my god, day 1 was so long.
The first morning at the house, and we're gonna find out that this is a Friday, Sarah.
Yes, I was excited to be able to place it in a week.
Show started on a Thursday. 1 day of work before going into the weekend on the show.
That's a weird decision.
It makes sense.
Show.
I think it actually does make sense. It's like because the weekends are probably where the fun part of the show happens. Like they can probably do the dates and whatnot.
That's true.
On the weekends. So.
And you do need like a day of everybody going off to their jobs so you can like speculate about what they are. Okay.
Yeah. I think it makes sense.
Producers, you know what you're doing, I guess.
We're going to get a very long segment to start this episode of everybody's like alarm wake up strategy schedule for the morning.
Ooh, and it is varied. It is a long stretch of time.
Yeah, there's a variety of wake up times for these 8 people. Do you think everybody in the house actually has the default iPhone alarm on their phone?
Not everybody. One person has a really cute alarm.
Oh, really?
I don't remember. Guess who it is? It's Wanbin. Of course it's Wanbin.
Oh, really?
His alarm like sounded like a little kid lullaby or something. It was so adorable. Everybody else has that default shit that makes you cringe.
Yeah, that's what I have too. But I was wondering. I was like, I feel like if I was actually thinking that maybe they were like putting the audio of the default iPhone into
Oh.
the show, and like because maybe the mics weren't picking up the alarm.
Mm.
But I didn't
Nope.
realize that Wanbin actually had a different alarm, so that's
He had
probably
a
actually
different
not
one.
right.
So
Okay.
these are some authentic default alarms going
Okay.
off through this episode.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go through the wake up times of everybody? Do you feel
Maybe we could just give a vibe. Like, humans are get up early and go exercise boy. He's up first.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Way too
breakfast,
early.
exercise at 7 a.m.
And then we got Minji's alarm goes off a little bit after that, but he just doesn't wake up, and he just doesn't turn the alarm off. So we get a fun shot of Human just eating breakfast in silence, and you hear Mingi's alarm in the background.
Yeah.
Just for a long time.
Yeah, Mingi does, or no, Guman does what I would do, where I just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Somebody's alarm's going off. I mean, it's annoying, but
Well, he's already up. Like, if you were asleep in the same room, I would probably at some point throw a pillow. Be like, hey, get up or turn that off.
True. I can't say I've ever been in that situation, so I don't know what I would do.
Okay.
But yeah, Guman doesn't do anything about it. He just eats his breakfast and then leaves at 7 for the gym.
Yeah, he goes up all those million stairs to go.
Everybody
exercise.
has to. I've never seen anybody walk the other way. It's always up the stairs.
And it's just like, maybe just go up and down the stairs a bunch of times. There you go. You don't even have to.
Oh no, he's
probably got a whole thing he's got to do. But still, it's a lot of stairs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. He was kind of gone for a while too. I think he doesn't get back to like 9:30. If I remember correctly. Yeah. So he was gone. I don't know how long it took him to get to the gym, but a few hours of workout. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Jisoo gets up at 7. You can get through this. But he also heard Mingi's alarm and didn't do anything.
Yeah. Did not do a thing.
Because she's on the first floor.
Okay.
And
it seems like everybody is like sleeping with their doors open, which like extra helps you hear other people's alarms. And is weird to me. I do not. Why would you leave your door open? Weird.
You don't want to miss anything outside your room.
I mean, when I'm sleeping, I want to miss a lot.
If people are having a party without you and you're on this TV show, you wouldn't.
If I have chosen to go to bed, then yeah, I want to miss that party. I want to miss it hard.
Okay. All right. Wanbin gets up at 8:30.
Oh, and he does sit straight up like he was worried about with the bunk beds. He just like...
Oh, he did? I didn't even notice.
Yep.
And then we got a confessional from him. He says, I felt like, what am I doing here? Like, it felt like when I was in the military on the first night also. So I guess he's already done his military service, is what I gathered.
Which I think makes sense with, we get to find out everybody's jobs later. And like, at first, his situation confused me, but then I remembered military things exist, and it makes sense now.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah. So yeah, he's at 8:30. I think Nayeon gets up around the same time because they're gonna talk.
Yes.
Right?
They're like the only people so far this morning who have interacted.
Yeah. And they're pretty comfortable talking to each other, right?
Yeah.
Already?
And we find out that Wanbin, he says that he sent his text to Nayeon. And this was one of the texts we didn't get to see what it was. And the text was apparently, thank you for the candy. Because they were grocery buddies, and she agreed to buy candy with it.
Which I guess they decided like that made it too obvious who it was. But like,
I would have been like, oh, whoever bought the candy brought it back and someone was grateful for it. It doesn't necessarily mean
yeah. And then they literally just in the very next episode tell us who he texted in the first 5 minutes. So what was the point of keeping it secret? Like, I don't know. I didn't understand
had to,
why.
Be secret for a week or however many days are between episodes when they, air them.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, Wanbin texted Nayeon. So this actually, if people followed what we were talking about last week, this actually means we were wrong.
Yes.
We had him as texting Jiyeon.
Yeah, which was probably Mingi had... Wait, no.
And so we have to rotate. We have to rotate 3.
So many things.
Yeah, we have to rotate 3 of who the guys texted because we find out that Tae definitely texted Yihyun.
Yeah, not a doubt.
And then I did this here. We found out Wanbin texted Nayeon. And then I'm pretty sure Mingi and Jiyeon are exes. So and Mingi did not text his ex. So. Or Jiyeon did not get a text from her ex, so that means Minji had to have texted Yi-hyun, and that's the second person. So it's Tae and Mingi texted Yi-hyun.
And then Guman must have texted Jiyeon.
Jiyeon. And that's a little bit of a surprise. Like, I feel like they didn't illustrate that part in the show, but I'm pretty sure it's right. Yeah. Especially, we're going to do text again here. And I think now that we've gotten 2 days of text, I think I've solved
everything.
I think I've solved everything. So I'm feeling pretty good about everything right now.
Okay.
So yeah, we got 3 of the guys' texts last episode wrong, but we just had to rotate them, and we're good, I think, now.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah. Mingi finally gets up
at 9:30, or he goes to work at 9:30 or something. Yeah.
And the show says that he's 2 hours late.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but then this confessional was weird. Did you get this?
Yeah, they asked him if anyone scolded him for not turning off his alarm, and he's like, "Oh, they didn't. Oh, wait, was my alarm on for a while? Maybe I should not do that."
That's what you think the producers were asking too?
Yeah.
Because to me, I immediately was like, "Did anybody scold you at work for getting there 2 hours late?" That's what I thought they were asking. But then he was like, "What do you mean? Like, did anybody yell at me because my alarm was going off?" And I was like, "Is that what the producers were asking?" I don't. I thought that was okay. But then we cut back inside the house after that confessional. And it's like, and then the show with their goofy words on the screen says, "There's another alarm villain." Is what they wrote on the screen.
I love the editors of this show are sassy, and I low-key love them for it.
That one was funny. Some of their shit's just like, why?
Yeah, every now and then.
This one was at least funny.
They're a little judgy, and I kind of love it. So
I'll never get over he takes his shoes off with his hand, or with his he takes his shoes off without using his hands. Like, that's a thing that needs to be commented on.
The editors, they've got a very strict set of standards, and if you're outside of that box, they will call you out.
I guess so. But yeah, Tae is also not waking up to his alarm.
Yes.
But I think this went on a lot longer.
Yes, and it did wake up someone else, which is Yi-hyun, and she was not having any of it, and walks straight into his room and like hits the bed frame and is like, "Turn it off."
Okay, but in the subtitles, it does say "turn it off" or "turn your alarm off, please," which
yes,
it's just the word "please" in English, but in what they're going to go on to talk about this as is like, I guess they're putting "please" in the translation as if like she's using the honorifics.
The politer form of the, yeah.
Yeah. But there's going to be a debate as to whether or not she dropped the honorifics or not and said it, which they translate in English as saying "please" or "not please," but truthfully in English, at least, I feel like whether or not the "please" is there or not doesn't really change how you said it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But it does make a difference in Korean. But it just doesn't translate as well, it seems. I don't know. I felt like this was going on. It probably went off for a while. Like, I don't think she heard it for like 5 minutes and went to Barcamp. It seemed like it was going on for a while.
Yeah, I agree.
But what seemingly seems like nothing is going to be a big deal.
Going to be a large chunk of
Actually,
the episode.
It's not going to be a big deal. I think there's other factors in play that are bigger deals than this that we just don't know about. But
the argument isn't about this. It's about so much more than this.
It has to be, yeah. But I'll note that it said "please" in the text, which I think means that she used honorifics.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
All right. 9:50, Guman's back from exercise. Yeah, that's a serious workout.
Or it was very far away.
Yeah. And then Guman and Wonbin decide to leave together because they're going the same direction or something. And Guman is going to give Wonbin a ride. I don't know if he doesn't. I don't know if Wonbin doesn't have his own car or if he was going to take public transportation.
He was probably going to take public transport.
Yeah, probably. And then 10:30 is when Nayeon leaves for work. So these people are leaving pretty late for work. So they're not like normal 9 to 5 office jobs. Almost nobody seems like they have a 9 to 5 office job.
Yeah. And then Jiyeon leaves like right after her, I think.
Yeah. And then Tae is also leaving late for work.
But he's on his motorcycle, so it's cooler.
Don't know when he left, but he arrives at work at noon.
Yeah.
And then they did have like these like cool motorcycle cams. Like the production actually put cameras on his motorcycle, so when he rides it around, you get these like cool action shots. I thought that was a weird choice.
No. They're doing him a favor. They're making him seem cool, you know?
Yeah. But like we didn't even get like everybody else that was driving to work. Did we even get like a car, like a camera inside the car? Like maybe
No,
we did
last
and I
time
just
we
didn't even
got
notice.
car footage was when they went to the grocery store
Yeah, we did
and
get it there, yeah.
Mingy looked like a dad.
But they didn't
So
show anybody else driving to work except for Tae because he had a motorcycle.
yeah, well, everybody else, if they want more screen time, should get a motorcycle too. You know,
I guess.
be cool.
And then Yihyun doesn't leave for whatever she's doing until 2 p.m.
Yes.
And nobody's back before then, so she's the last one.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the main titles, and it's different now. Instead of the single individual shots of Wonbin and Jisoo, we get their awkward couple reenacting in the wood shot.
Because they've already revealed that to us.
Yeah. And then we get everybody else.
Super
with their
weird.
headshots.
Super weird.
I hate that they made them do that because
I still don't know if it's
so awkward.
It could be future footage. I'm still waiting.
No, because if they put it in the titles like that, I feel like they made everybody do it, and they're gonna put everybody in the titles once they get revealed. You know?
I don't know. Nothing happens at the house during the day because nobody's there.
Yes.
Nayeon gets back at 6 p.m. and then we see Yihyun get back at 6:30, and then she goes to write something on the fancy color board.
Mm-hmm.
And she writes, "I'm hungry, come back soon." And then she signs it from an unemployed girl under the name of a freelancer.
Yeah, so
already like
giving too much information away. She's not good at this show.
Yeah, so she's like, she's not saying what her job is, but she's saying she doesn't have a job. So
yeah.
I don't think she broke the rules here, but I was just highlighting that like she's going to do this again later, and she seemed to be very fixated on the fact that she is an unemployed girl, as she calls it. You know?
Yeah.
Just something that might be on her mind and or troubling her, and who knows what her mindset is right now.
Might be causing some stress that maybe bleed over into other areas of her life.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Even though some people didn't even said they weren't even going to work. Maybe she just assumed they were students.
She's self-conscious about it.
But
already.
she's like, she's like self-conscious that she's like the one in the house leaving last or something. Something's going on here.
What I took away from this is why you should have the phone numbers of all your housemates so you can group text saying you're hungry, because this writing on the board isn't going to get you food any faster.
Oh.
Because they don't let them have each other's phone numbers, and I'm just like, this is a reason you need to be able to communicate with the people you live with so you can coordinate dinner.
Yeah, what is the purpose of writing "I'm hungry, come back soon"? Is it like if they walk in the house and they see it, it's like they'll just like drop their bags off in the room real fast and then come get dinner? I don't know. Yeah, what is the point of this? A lot of weird. What is the motivation of doing this at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she has to wait a long time because, like, I think the next timestamp we get is 8:30 when people are coming back.
Yeah, Jisoo gets back, Wonbin gets back, Yumin gets back, and then Minji gets back at 8:30. I don't know when everybody, like, exact timing of everybody, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jisoo and Yumin, this is before dinner. Jisoo and Yumin have like a weird conversation.
I don't think they have a weird conversation.
Some meme.
They are vibing, Korean, and they are talking about a meme, some sort of banana meme that we don't get.
Jisoo just like randomly brings up this meme. Mm-hmm. And keeps like doing it over and over again in a way that's just making Yumin laugh.
Yes, and we get a confessional from him where he's just like, she's so teeny and so adorable. So he's vibing with that.
He said she's so tiny. She kept smiling and goofing around, so I kind of put my guard down around her. She was so adorable. That's what he said. And then in her confessional, she said, "I thought it would be hard to approach him, but I found out he wasn't cold like I had assumed. That kind of made my heart flutter." So Jisoo's having a good time. When I first watched it, I read it as, but I found out that he wasn't cool like I thought I had assumed. So I was like, wait, is like not laughing cool? But then I figured out what I'd done wrong. When people say their heart fluttered, that's usually a big deal in these shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jisoo's feeling something, and she's Yumin is definitely seems to be attracted to her, but didn't go as far to say his heart fluttered. So we don't know.
Maybe it takes more than some memes to get his heart fluttering, you know?
The thing about Yumin is that he said this like sentence about her being tiny and adorable and all this stuff, but he said it in like the calmest, like most monotone voice.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Jisoo was a little more like, you know, had emotion behind what she was saying, but Kyumin was just saying things.
He like says it in such a dude way where like I cannot give away any emotion. She was adorable. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like I felt he was being genuine, but you would almost think he's not based on his tone. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. And then we're finally gonna make dinner. I don't even think Ji Yeon is home yet, but they're like, it's time. Maybe production gave them the thumbs up.
I think Tae also isn't back yet. It's just
oh yeah, he's not. You're right. Yeah. Wanbin and Nayeon are making dinner tonight. Only 2 people, it seems. Or
yes.
I don't know. I feel like Jisoo was at there too.
She was just like watching though, and it's weird because she like suggested that they make dinner together, but then like watched them like, why are they hanging out together? Like it's still like bothering her a little bit that he's like hanging out with another girl.
Yeah, Wanbin and Nayeon are gonna make some sort of like fried rice thing, and Jisoo, they show her like looking at them, and then they cut to a confessional, and she's just like, they seem close. Like, yes, in a jealous way. But I feel like Jisoo and Mingi also made something because like they were the other part of the original grocery team. I feel like they just swapped out everybody. I don't know. There was some comment that made me feel like, okay, Mingi also made something, but it wasn't necessarily like the main part. I don't know. I could be wrong. But they were more than just Wanbin and Nayeon in the kitchen. But
but the important part is that Wanbin and Nayeon are like vibing while they're cooking. You know, like they seem like they're having a good time.
Yes.
And they both have confessionals about, he's like, it was fun, and she kept complimenting me even when I messed up. And
yeah.
He says something like he could tell she didn't have a lot of cooking experience.
Yeah.
Funny.
Wanbin has some of the best confessionals in the show right now.
He is easily my favorite.
Yeah. I wrote down Nayeon's confessional, though. She said, he's so gentle and pays attention to every little detail. He was the ideal type of man I wanted. Ooh. He was the polar opposite of my ex, so I liked him more. When I was with my ex, there were times he had hurt me, so a part of me wanted to date a guy a bit sweeter. I feel like there's a lot of like weird past tense in that.
That might be some weird translation stuff.
Yeah, it must have been some weird translation stuff. Because I originally, when I read it, I was like, oh, she's saying she would have been interested in a guy like Wanbin before, but something's changed. But I think she's just saying she likes Wanbin, and that's that's it. It's not as complicated as the translation makes it seem.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And then Tae comes back, 8:40.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and here is where the editors throw a little shade. They're like, he puts on a hat, and they're like, he's covering up the hair he didn't get a chance to wash. And it's like, okay, guys, what is that? Never comes up again. The editors are just judgy as hell, and it's funny.
And then when Tae comes back, we get a confessional from Jisoo, and she says that she texted Tae last night.
Yes, which I think we got right.
We got that right. So I think we got all the women did right. Because we kind of just defaulted Jisoo to Tae because it was like what was left, but
yeah,
since it's right, I feel like the rest of it probably fell in place properly. And then we're gonna get installment number 1 of Yihyun and Tae rehashing the alarm situation in the morning.
Yeah,
this is it's playful, right?
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, okay, they're just teasing each other, smoothing over a little bit of awkwardness she maybe feels about it, and it seems fine.
Yeah. To me, this whole thing at first is just like, you know, there's not much to talk about yet. We still barely know each other. Like, I mean, they know each other, but like,
they know each other just really well.
They rehash it like in a group, and they're just like, they're just like waiting for dinner. She like brings up the alarm thing again, and then they start talking about whether or not she used the honorifics or not when she came in the room. And she thinks she did, but Tae thinks she didn't.
And I think she also like apologizes a little bit. Like she's saying like she feels a little embarrassed about coming into his room and telling to turn it off. And she's kind of like sorry, but she's also laughing about it.
Oh, so does she actually kind of say sorry? Yeah.
I did not write the exact subtitle down
You know
because I
what?
didn't think it would be that important.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Sarah. I don't really care.
Okay, that's fair.
This like debate is not actually that interesting.
Yeah.
It's just going to blow up into something bigger later.
Yes.
And ultimately, who said what doesn't matter. To me, at least.
That's
Maybe
fair.
it's
yeah.
Maybe this honorific thing is a huge deal.
I mean, it is a big deal, but like not in the way that like this only becomes a fight because they are a former couple, and you know they have a dynamic of they're fighting about something else, right? Like they are just frustrated with each other about how things used to be or something. You know, it really has nothing to do with what was actually said right now.
Yeah. So that's number one. Number one rehash of the alarm situation.
But immediately after this, she checks in on him to see if he changed his Band-Aid from the day before. And it turns out, like, he took it off, like, right away the day before anyway. So there's some light teasing about that again. But then they go and she puts a new one on him. And they are being a little cute at each other. And it seems like, okay, everything's fine. Maybe, you know, they're chill. They're being cute.
Yeah. He said he took it off right away because he went to cook immediately and then it got wet. So he like took it off after he was done cooking, it sounded like. And again, he's actually like in a confessional, he's going to be like, it was touching that she helped me out with the Band-Aid. Mm-hmm.
He says it was like a tsunami and he was very grateful. So like, you think things are going well.
All I gathered from it was on top of the fact that we were pretty sure that he texted Yi-hyun last night. And the fact that in the confessionals, he's saying he's touched by this relatively meaningless helping out with a Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. It seems like Tae is probably the one that invited Yi-hyun to be on the show. And he's the one that's looking to get back together. I don't think we've gotten anything from Yi-hyun to suggest that she wants to get back together.
That's true.
She's just only giving away the fact that they're exes because she's not good at acting.
Yes.
But yeah, 9/10. Ji-yeon gets back from her not work.
Yes.
According to the show. And I believe they're like about to start eating at 9/10.
Or they might have already started a little bit.
Just started eating, yeah.
But she gets back in time to eat with them at least a bit, so she hasn't broken.
But she's cutting it close though, Sarah.
Yeah, she is.
Like you miss dinner, you don't even know what the consequences are.
Oh yeah.
Or do we?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do. I mean, or maybe not. Maybe we have to go into a whole discussion about what rules were broken later or not, because who knows what that is.
I think I know, but we'll get there.
Okay. I got theories.
Somehow, despite these two non-chefs cooking, people seem to actually like the food this time. Yes. They call it simple.
Yeah.
Whatever this fried rice with meat. But yeah, people actually seem to like it.
Yeah.
No secret confessionals from Mingi saying it was actually trash, but I said it was okay. And then we're ready for round 2.
Yep.
Of the rehashing the alarm situation in the morning at dinner this time.
Yes. Well, we find out it's Friday, so people are excited about staying up late. And Tae says, well, I have work tomorrow. And then he talks about, well, I better be careful about my alarm or something to start the teasing again.
Still playful. Mm-hmm. Seems like nothing.
Yes.
Okay. Everyone really wants to know each other's jobs.
Oh, yes. Jobs and age and hobbies and blood type.
And blood type. That was the one I heard. Are they really not allowed to share their blood type, Sarah? That can't be the thing.
It's gotta be, because they haven't. I think if they could have, they would have by now.
I know blood types is like a thing in Korea.
Yeah, it's kind of like sharing your zodiac sign or whatever. You know, there's things that you are supposed to have attributes because of your blood
is that type. More information than Myers-Briggs personality test? Like,
because then you know who to go to if there's an emergency in the house and somebody needs blood. I don't know. The producers made up some rules and they can't talk about blood types.
Well, if they give away their blood types, will that somehow indicate who's exes with each other? Do people date based on blood types?
Ooh, maybe there's probably compatibility, you know, just like with zodiac signs, like these people go with those people or whatever.
Yeah, but that's true for Myers-Briggs. Like,
that's true. Yeah, I don't know. The rules are inconsistently enforced.
Okay. They should have just shared their blood types. There's no way that's against, there's no way that's against the rules.
And like, if you can't even talk about hobbies, like honestly, like what are these people talking about? Maybe that's why all this teasing about the alarm comes up, because they literally can't say anything about anything.
Maybe. If you can't share your blood type now, you should just never be allowed to share your blood type. Like they just don't want anybody to base their feelings off of blood type, and that should be for the entire longevity of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no reason at all to do that. Okay. All right, dinner's over. They're going to make their way upstairs to the hangout area.
Which seems to be where they go to eat snacks and drink. That seems to be the zone.
And the doorbell rings.
And it's time to talk about jobs. Ethan goes and gets a letter, and she reads it, and she kind of like gets all excited because they were just talking about how they want to talk about this. And it says that they can reveal their jobs, but they can't reveal anything else. It seems really early, though, to be talking about jobs, if the whole point of not telling each other your jobs is so that way you like, well, I'm assuming this is the reason, is that you like develop feelings or whatever without all this extra like social bullshit around like who's a good partner because they have a fancy job or a lot of money or whatever. But it's day 2 and they're like, here, tell each other jobs, whatever. So I don't know why it's even a thing.
I was wondering that also on this show, like, because it's different than Heart Signal in that there's this possibility that like the exes are hung up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like revealing like some actual valuable information like jobs could get people like, oh, now that I know this person's job, like they're more interesting than my ex now or something like that, okay. You know? Whereas like if they're just a person that you don't know anything about them, you might just be like, well, I know more about my ex and I like that.
Yeah.
But now that I don't know, I feel like opening up some information sooner than later is good. Now, ages they can't do because I think ages will reveal the exes.
Really? Yeah.
Now, the jobs can kind of reveal the exes, but at the same time, even like you could go on the show with your ex and they might not have the same job. So you might actually just not know what your ex's job is.
That's true.
So I think jobs is not, I think it's the right thing to reveal early where it's actually valuable information and doesn't break the concept of the show.
Yeah. It just does seem weird that they had to wait a day. It's like, just let them talk about jobs from the beginning, but okay.
I don't know why they do that. Yeah. Honestly, for me, Sarah, though, what people's jobs are like is not that interesting to me.
No? It's what they choose to spend their time with.
It's interesting for this show because it's like literally you're not like, we don't find out any information. So when you find out their job, it's like kind of interesting. As like, okay, this is a character on a TV show, what's their job? But in terms of like whether or not I'm going to be into somebody like this, like their job is not really going to impact that.
It does depend on like if people have a job they like or not. But like when you talk to somebody about their job and they're like really passionate about it, like that shows you part of their character and what they're like. And so I think there's definitely value to discussing that.
Yeah,
it might reflect how you feel about someone.
Yeah, it's less of like what their job is, but yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like, now that they can talk about their job, let's see how they are as a person. Now that they can like open up, that's true. And the women are really excited to guess everybody's job.
There's so much yelling.
If you wanted to figure out everybody's ex on the show, Sarah, look no further than this segment right here.
Oh, really?
The jobs revealed.
Okay.
Part of this activity is guessing people's jobs.
But only the girls and Mingi or Guman are guessing. Like, for the most part, the guys aren't guessing that much.
You're not going to get 100% of the information, but you can, like say you were, like, playing Clue, and you had to, like, eliminate guesses. You get a lot of eliminations here in terms of, okay, if this person is passionately attempting to guess somebody's job, then they are probably not their ex.
Yeah. Is
the logic here. So I think we get a lot of information here on top of the information we already have. I think you can really start to solidify these the data here. Let's go through these. Are you ready?
Yes. So Yihyun's first, and we already know who her ex is, so this is not that exciting. Some of the girls guess that she's a dancer or a musician or an artist, but it turns out she was a makeup artist at first. She worked at Jung Sam-mul Inspiration, which is apparently a salon run by a very famous makeup artist in Korea. And she worked there for 5 years. And for the last 5 months, she's been she's been an independent makeup artist, and she's also started modeling.
Yes, freelance modeling.
And she does say like some girl K-pop groups and artists that she's worked on. And one of the hosts is from a girls group. And she's like, oh, wait, I remember her. She did my base makeup a lot back in the day. So
yeah,
there you
go. That was kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah, they named some groups and I was like, I've heard of those groups. So it's like, oh, you've done some pretty famous people.
Yeah.
If I've heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, seems pretty legit. They didn't get any, I think only the women guessed Yihyun.
Yeah.
So we didn't get any additional information, but we don't really need it, like you were saying. All right. Who's next, Sarah?
Next is Gyumin. And so Jiyeon guesses that he works at a nice company, which makes him kind of almost choke on what he's drinking or eating or something and then laugh a lot about it.
It's just a weird thing to guess, right? Like what does that mean? Like he works for Microsoft or Google or like what's a nice company?
Yeah, like a fancy company. I don't know.
Okay.
And then Jisoo shouts that he's a cafe owner. And Nayeon doesn't say anything.
Yep.
Yep.
Got a lot of information here. And we know who Jisoo's ex is.
Yeah, we do.
So what does that leave us with here?
Well, it leaves us with he's a video designer. And he directs and films commercials and music videos. But unlike Yihyun, he does not list off people who he's made music videos for, so he probably isn't that fancy. That's my take anyway.
Yeah, and then Nayeon does, after he says what he does, she does prompt him to clarify if he like does the filming or directing or both. But that question was more of like she might already know the answer to it the way she said it to me at least. Yeah. So it's possible that some of these people are just really participating in the show and know that they should be actively faking people out.
I mean, you could read it as Jiyeon, like her guess making him laugh that way is because it's not the job he has, and he knows that she knows it's not the job he has. Except that
that's a fucking crazy intentional intentional fake guess, isn't it?
Well, isn't that what you would have to do though? Like if you're trying
that's
to
just
like
the weirdest
not let
shit
people
to
know,
say.
It's
like you go on the show with your ex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's their turn to reveal their job, and you have to like, okay, I gotta come up with a guess that is good. You know what else? You must work for a nice company.
I mean, maybe
that's some
it's
weird,
less awkward in Korean.
Maybe, yeah, that's some nice shit. That's some weird shit to say.
I mean, it did.
Regardless of whether it's your ex or not,
bring out a reaction. But yeah, it's probably Naya.
I watched this whole segment and then got to the end and realized like, oh, I should have been paying attention to who was guessing. And then I went back and watched the segment again to be like, oh, okay, now I'm really feeling confident about whose exes this is. So looking like Gyumin and Nayeon, most likely exes. That's what we had before too. So it seemed to line up here. That's what I got from when Nayeon was the third person to walk in the door on day one. I said these two were.
It's true.
Let's go. True. So I really wanted to be right. So maybe I am a little bit biased here.
Maybe. Especially because when we next get to Mingi's job,
it gets tricky.
That the guesses where the guess logic doesn't work here.
It does if you watch it with and do a little facial reading, but okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
Nayeon shouts out that he probably has a technical job. And we've got
seems like a genuine guess.
Yeah. Jiyeon says he's a designer, and Gyumin also says he's a designer.
And he's a designer.
Yeah, and he's a designer. Yeah. He's a visual director at a fashion designer brand.
Yeah.
Which was founded by him and his two friends. So
but I think Jiyeon actually guesses like fashion designer. And then when he says he's a fashion designer, I feel like Jiyeon made a face like that she doesn't make when everybody else reveals their job. Like she was like, yeah, you are. Like she knew that. Okay. Like yeah, she knew that shit already. You could have
All right.
interpreted of like, oh, she was feeling good about herself because she guessed exactly right. But to me, it was like, oh, you knew that shit already. Come on.
All right. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I think that is the couple. But yeah.
The only other conclusion is that, like, because I think Yi-hyun's the only one that doesn't guess. That isn't Jisoo. So I wrote for a second, like, so is his ex Yi-hyun? But then after watching everybody else's guesses and stuff, I was like, and then I went back and I saw Ji-hyun's face. I was like, that face isn't what she's been doing this entire time. Like, you know, like if somebody says their job and then they have like a surprise, like use people to have like a moment of surprise face, because that's just what you do when you find out information about somebody. Yeah. She did not have a surprise face for this one. Okay. So Mingi and Ji-hyun looking like an ex-couple here.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out later that Mingi lived in the U.S. for a while.
I think we did find that out from his letter.
From his letter. Okay, yeah. We found that out last episode. But you also saw in his video package for his job that he was like speaking English with the model, like telling them what to do. Oh
yeah, like real fluently, yeah.
So much so that I didn't notice it the first time. And then I went back and I was like, oh shit, he's actually speaking English.
Yeah.
And then Jisoo had a little confessional after Mingi's reveal, and she was like, I could tell that he was a fashion designer because he wore this hip baseball jacket.
Yes.
But I feel like on all these shows, when they have to guess jobs, like I feel like with half the guys at least, they guess, oh yeah, you're a fashion designer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you know how to put on clothes and don't look like garbage. You must.
Yeah, like everybody that gets to the show, like a lot of them wear like nice clothes. Either that's their clothes or production gives them nice clothes or something. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Mingi. Who's next?
Next is Jisoo. And Ji-hyun guesses she's a secretary. Wonbin guesses that she's an office worker.
Wonbin, that motherfucker. That guy tried to fucking trick us by guessing.
To be fair, they might have broken up before she got a job, and he deleted all of social media, so he doesn't necessarily know. Unless in the many times they talked before the show started filming, he may have found out. But,
I did write that down, that he might not actually know what her job is, but when I didn't notice that he guessed the first time, and then when I went back and was specifically looking at guesses, and then he guessed her job, I just wrote down, motherfucker, what are you doing?
But it's also the only person whose job he guesses.
Like, yeah, I think it
is. Way to try to be smooth, Wonbin, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, they just didn't show his guesses, at least, for the other people.
That's true.
But yeah, he tried to trick us good. But little did he know that the show was going to reveal his couple in episode 2. But it did make me think for a second. Like, I was like, Ji-hyun seems like somebody that might have like be good enough at poker that like she would be tricking us.
Okay.
But I decided that she wasn't. But Wonbin tried to trick us.
Yeah. Mingi says she's a piano teacher, and then Tae says she looks like a kindergarten teacher. And it turns out she's an English instructor. I don't know why the subtitles changed from teacher to instructor or how that's different, but...
Well, she described it as instructor. I wonder if it's like a qualification kind of...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think she did mention like having to get a license for it, or
she says instructor
or something. Yeah. And we get another human confessional where he says she's teeny and adorable again. And,
yeah.
This boy is obsessed.
But still in a very calm voice.
Oh, yeah. Can't let on that he's
could have been the same confessional, honestly. I don't even know. But she also speaks English well. And then everybody's like, oh, you can talk to Mingi in English. And then they try to like get Mingi to speak English, but he's like too shy to do it.
Well, like whenever I tell anybody I'm learning Korean, they'll be like, say something in Korean. And I'm like, all the words are gone. Yes, I'm not anywhere near his skill.
You didn't actually like live in Korea and speak it like fluently for years.
Yeah.
Like he
But
did.
other than like his job package, like he might not have spoken English in a while, you know, like
he might only know that one sentence.
Yeah. It just might be really infrequent.
It was like arch your back like this. Like that might be the one sentence he knows.
I can empathize with I've forgotten all the words in this language I theoretically am learning. So yeah.
They do say a Korean word I know coming up.
Oh yeah?
Aksang.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're gonna get a couple students in a little bit. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I know what that is. That's one of the,
Nice.
one of the. I don't know how many words I know.
Well, that's at least one.
That's at least
we
one.
keep track
No, what was the other
as
word
you
I got?
recognize other words.
Oh, and Singles Inferno, when he said sagua, when they said sagua, I knew that was
Ooh,
apple. That was a good
nice.
one. Yeah, that's Jisoo. Who's next?
Yes. Next
Halfway there.
is Nayeon. And Jiyoung guesses she's a model. Gyumin guesses she's in show business. And then we get this great Wonbin confessional where he thinks she's rich but doesn't have a job because she plays golf and tennis. And I'm like, I cannot fault him for this logic here.
That's totally fair. I wouldn't have guessed that she didn't have a job, but I think guessing that she's rich is totally fair.
Yeah. And then Yihoon says something related to a foreign language or also like an English instructor. And it turns out she's a sports anchor that specializes in golf. Yes. And she hosts a golf show that teaches lessons to amateurs, and she has professional golfers come on and teach basic golf things, I guess.
This was the one job reveal that I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's that really, they always say oh, it suits you, but this one I was like, yeah, okay. That's why she's smiling constantly, and
yeah,
it's like her job. she's always practicing her job, basically, is what she's doing.
My guess before she revealed it was I thought she was a weather woman or something,
okay,
a news anchor.
I didn't even think along those lines, but it totally makes sense what they revealed it.
Yeah.
I did write down Gyumin seems legit surprised by this. He had a facial reaction. So Oh, I wrote that down as a counter to them being together, but okay. I still think they're together.
Well, maybe she wasn't this far, who knows how long ago they dated,
Oh, yeah, there you go, yeah. And then Tae asked a follow-up question as if he legitimately didn't know what she did for a living. Mm-hmm. So, but we already
know that.
Tae. Yeah. But yeah, mostly golf. And then what's crazy, there's a moment here where the two of the guy panelists, the two guys that aren't Bam Bam.
Yeah.
They I guess they play golf or watch TV enough that they saw her on TV recently. Yes. Or they remembered her once they saw her video package in the golf gear. Mm-hmm. And so they've actually watched her golf lessons on TV. And then the one host explained this he explained it in a weird way, but he started out by saying, she's actually not good at golf.
Yes.
Which is a weird way to start the explanation. But it's because she can play golf, but her TV show is she gets professionals to come in and give her lessons, which are giving lessons to the viewers, basically. That's the idea. Yeah. So she's not a pro, but she's getting lessons from pros.
It did sound like a slam.
Yeah. I think she could also go out, and beat the average person at golf. It's not she's garbage. Yeah. What I was gonna say was, I was thinking about, I feel everybody almost gets oh, are you a model or a dancer or an idol guess? At least the women do. Except I feel Jisoo didn't. And I feel should you feel a certain way about that? If you're maybe. The one girl on the season that people don't think is a model.
Yeah. It's just because she's so teeny and adorable, though. She couldn't possibly.
I don't know. These other women, other than Jiyoung, right? These other women aren't that much bigger than Jisoo, are they?
Yeah, but she has a teeny energy.
Yeah, maybe it's an energy thing. You're right. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd probably feel some kind of way if I was
I'm just hoping she didn't notice and she doesn't feel bad.
She was feeling bad though until later. So
yeah,
I feel she might have noticed. But okay, that's Nayeon. Mm-hmm. 3 more.
Next,
here we go.
Jiyoung is up, and Nayeon says she looks like a model. Gyumin says she's a model or a singer. Mm-hmm. Jisoo says that she thought Jiyoung looked familiar, and so she's like, "Yeah, you must be a model because I've definitely seen you somewhere." And Jiyoung's like, "Nope, I'm in college, majoring in business administration."
Yep.
And there's a weird moment where Mingi thinks she said majoring in marriage or business marriage, or I don't know. He thinks she says the word marriage, and it's a weird little confusing moment that happens.
Yeah. I did note down that Mingi did seem surprised slash confused by her
Mm-hmm.
job reveal, which would go against our prediction, but I'm sticking with it. You just probably didn't know what she was up to.
But like, okay, just to harp on this potential couple that I actually do believe is a couple, but so she says her job has a lot to do with her age, right? So she's on the younger side, so she's a college student.
Mm-hmm.
So far, other people in the house have said that they think Mingy's a little older. I felt like I agreed with that. Do you think they are an awkwardly aged couple? Or has she returned to school and maybe that's why he's confused? Or thoughts on this weird potential age gap?
Yeah, they did mention that. I don't know. I mean, she's in college, but they don't specify like grad school or anything. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like there's plenty of possibilities. I don't know what's like normal in Korea, but like in the US, there's plenty of like older people that go back to school
Yeah.
kind of thing. If there wasn't all this other information, you would like I would consider it as like, oh, they're probably not exes, but
My thing with them is like a lot of evidence points to them being exes, but I cannot imagine them together.
oh, really? You
Because
can't?
yeah, just because like she seems so much more fun than he is.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
based on
know.
how they've talked about their exes, I can
Mm,
imagine that they were the ones that were together, you know?
yeah. But I guess it's the fact that she wants to get back with him. I'm also just like, really? Is this what you want? Does this fit for you? I don't know.
I don't know if she specifically said she wants to get back with him. What I remember is she just said, I'm not interested in anybody but my ex.
Which makes it sound like she's hella interested in getting back together.
Could be. Or she's just not that into the other guys. It's not. She's just more into her ex than the other guys, which is
I don't
fine.
know. If I was in her situation and not necessarily interested in getting back with my ex, but not necessarily vibing with any of the other guys, I would at least pick a guy to text that wasn't my ex if I wasn't actually trying to get back with him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think she's like not open to it, but I wouldn't paint her as like, oh, she's obsessed with her ex and really wants to get back together either, you know?
Okay. I've read it as a she is more eager than that to get
Okay.
back with him.
Um, who if this is the couple, like who invited who on the show here? Who broke up with
Oh,
who in this couple?
he broke up with her and she invited him. Is the vibe that I'm getting.
Yeah, that would make sense. She seems to do like more complaining about her ex though in like the confessionals than he
Yeah.
does, right?
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to do if you're the one that wants to get back together and the one that got
Mm.
invited on the show. I don't know. It does seem you're right. Like the dynamic of them seems weird, but and
Yeah, I
if
don't
their
know.
age, if there's a gap in their age, like then that it's not necessarily like a high school relationship either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So then it feels like they'd have to have been kind of recent exes too, depending on how far she is
Maybe
in college. As a whole, there's so many details I need.
Mingy's is going to say that he lived in the U.S. from seventh grade to like 2 years of college.
Yes.
And then what is Mingy's profession? Let's see, fashion
Um.
designer.
Yes.
I mean, you could be. Is he the one that said he like made a company with his
With his friends, yeah.
friends? You know, like he could literally be like 1 year out of college,
That's true.
and she could still be in college.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They don't necessarily have to be far apart in age.
Well, there is also the other thing where a lot of guys in Korea have to do mandatory military service, and I have read that a lot of what happens is they'll do like 2 years of school, then go away, 2 or 3 years of school, then go away, do military service, come back, and then finish school. So that also kind
Oh,
of creates a age gap potential there too.
so he could have done 2 years of school in the U.S., gone to do the military in Korea, and then like finish his school in Korea
Yeah.
potentially, and then maybe they went to school together. Although
Maybe?
he seemed surprised that she was in school, but maybe he's just a good actor.
Yeah. It's unsure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I still feel good about it.
Yeah, I still think they don't go with anybody else either, too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So when the girls were trying to guess Ji Yun's job, and they were like, "I recognize you from somewhere," like this was the part of the preview in the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
the preview for this
Yeah.
episode that they did. So yeah, I'm never gonna put any stock in the previews for the next episode. Like this was the most garbage. Like, oh, I think you know me from somewhere. Oh, I don't because you're just a student. Like it was a total BS moment in the
Uh-huh.
preview. So yeah, not
Well,
gonna have a lot to say on the previews going forward in this for this TV show.
I'm gonna have to call you on that one though, because at the end of this episode, there's a very important preview that I don't think they're faking.
Wait, is there even a preview for next episode?
Yeah, the whole big thing at
the
the end
the hosts
with the cake
hosts?
and the letter. Everybody in the house.
That wasn't
gets a
next
letter.
time on. That's just what happened. That was just the show.
No, that's definitely from next.
You
episode.
think they're gonna go back in time from that point? Okay, we'll get there. Hold on. Let's slow our roll here.
100%. They're not skipping an entire meal. Like they're gonna show the evening the next day.
But I think that'll be more of a flashback. But okay, we'll see.
Okay.
All right, Wanbin. Oh wait, not Wanbin.
It's Taeyi's
Where are we
turn.
at? Taeyi. Okay.
Nayeon and Jiyeon think that whatever his job is really eccentric because he's such a cool guy with a motorcycle.
And Yihyun doesn't guess.
Well, Yihyun has not really been guessing a lot.
Yeah, but the two girls the two other options did guess. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, and Jisoo guesses that he makes something, and then he says he's the editor for a clothing brand that he founded the previous year, but he also works as a barista. And he was an actor until 5 or 6 years ago. So long and short of it, he is a barista who is trying to make clothes.
Yes. And it says in his montage that he studied for many years to become a barista.
Yes. I guess that's a thing. It must be hard.
Is there
I'm not
barista
a coffee
school?
person, so
Is there a barista like school that takes years to graduate from?
you don't have to be in school to study things. You can, study
guess
things
so.
outside of school, and then it definitely takes longer.
Maybe it's just the subtitles. But when you say I studied for many years to become a barista, it's like it almost means like I studied for a long ass time and then I became a barista. Not like I started being a barista and I got better because I studied, or like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought that was a weird
Fair.
subtitle, but who knows if
Yeah.
I interpreted that properly.
There is not much discussion, I feel, that goes on about his situation because
I think everybody's disappointed.
oh
this
yeah,
job.
100%. Yes.
They were like, "Oh, I thought you were like a Hollywood stunt double or like a
Or at least a chef or something.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be a chef because I just thought there had to be a chef. But I mean, barista is
it's chef adjacent.
It's
sure.
an element of calorie consumption.
Okay, fair enough. But not as cool.
All right, one more. Wanbin. What the hell does he do?
So we get
Haksang.
Yisun guesses he's a teacher, but yeah, Yumin and Nayeon guess that he is a Haksang, which is a student, and he is studying physical education.
Yes.
And then we find out that Nayeon and Yumin also majored in physical education. So a lot of physical education majors in this house.
Because I'm trying to like piece together the Wanbin and Jisoo timeline and like all their like comments to figure out what the hell happened in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems like whatever, like was Wanbin always a physical education student? Like it when somebody tells you that they're like a physical education student, doesn't it at least in America that sounds like you're going to be a gym teacher, doesn't it?
Yes, it 100% sounds like you're going to be a gym teacher. And even here, he says like he's been doing like the student teaching stuff. So like it does seem like gym teacher is his path.
Yeah. And he's also already done his military service, so it almost feels like shit kind of went bad with his life, and then Jisoo dumped him, and then he was just like, "Fuck it, I'll do my military service right now."
No, my new theory
it's been
is
like
that
2 years.
my new theory is that he got called up to military service, and that's when she went, "Don't want to do this long distance or whatever for 2 years, so bye." Like I think she broke up with him because he's going to the military.
But would he describe that as a struggling moment in my life? Because he was like,
I mean, yeah.
Oh, does not everybody get like the privilege of choosing when they do it, or is that only for like?
You can like delay it so many times, and I think you have to have reasons to delay it. And like K-pop idols and actors have reasons of like, I'm not going to be young and pretty forever, so I got to get the money now. And they can delay it until they're like 30, but I don't know what the reasons, like if you need a valid reason to delay it, but I think you do. So, and having to go to the military is like not an enjoyable time for most folks. It's not like something most folks are choosing. So I can see how it could be real stressful.
Yeah. I don't think that's it though, because I don't know, if I was forced to do a mandatory thing that was going to take me out of the picture for, was it a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. I would not be that devastated that my girlfriend was like, maybe we should take a break while you're gone for 2 years.
I would be real upset.
Really, you'd be like, if there was ever any reason to be broken up with, that seems like a valid reason, right?
I mean, they do get vacation time. Like, he would get to come back and visit sometime, I think. At least K-pop people get vacation time, so everybody has to. It's not that unfair, I don't think. But like it is like a year and a half to 2 years. Like, if this is your first love and you're like, oh, this is it, I'm gonna be with this woman forever, and then she goes, we want to wait around for you for 2 years and breaks up, that would suck. That would hurt a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like, it's just everybody knows they have to do the service at some point, so it's like any woman dating a guy that hasn't done the service yet is like, should be prepared for this. So maybe it would be devastating for that to be the reason that the relationship ends. I don't know.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen a lot. I think
I just
probably
feel like
happens
it has
a lot.
to be something bigger for how devastated this guy is. I feel like it just has to be.
Well, we don't find out this episode. Hopefully, at some point we find out, because I really want to know.
Would you be so hurt by that when you were done with military service and they were interested in getting back together, you would have no interest? Knowing that the issue was never going to come up again because the military service is done.
Well, it's not the military service. It's the attitude behind it. Like, I kind of want to hook up with other people while you're gone, so let's just not be together. Like, that's what it feels like.
I think there are a lot worse reasons to be broken up with. That's all. That's my thought. But maybe Wanbin would be devastated no matter what reason he got broken up with. Also,
I think viewing this under the lens of this is probably his first love, like, is gonna reveal a little bit more about why he feels so hurt by it. Like, that first big love can hurt a lot. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
All right, can't wait to find out. People told us we will find out, which is exciting.
I don't know how many episodes we have to wait, but one day.
Yeah, probably a long ass time. Here's what we find out. Mingi lived in Chicago. Everybody's done revealing their job, by the way. Mingi lived in Chicago from 7th grade to 2 years of college, which he said was 8 years. Does that add up? Yeah, that's about right. And then the doorbell rings again, Sarah.
Yes, and Tae runs like nobody's business for this letter.
I think people are drunk at this point.
Yes.
Tae is drunk enough that he is not being himself right here. Not being his normal sober self here, I think.
Yes, he stopped thinking about being cool and just went for it.
So we're going to get new instructions from production here, Sarah. You want to explain what the new thing they have to do is?
Okay, I'm just going to read what they showed on the thing. You will have a date at a place where the male participant made memories with his ex. We will ask the female participants to pick a keyword. Afterwards, they will have a chat with the exes of their dates for advice.
The exes of their dates. So the women are going to talk to the women?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. And is this going to be in the chat room?
They've given no details about it.
It has to be in the chat room. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, because the women. So, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'll give you actually how to understand what's about to happen. The women are going to get 4 words, and they each have to choose a word or a phrase or whatever. Mm-hmm. The 4 words are the first meeting, the flirting period, the first date, or the breakup. And basically each guy, I don't know if they specifically got to choose the wording or whatever, but they basically chose a date spot that they had with their ex, or like a location that was meaningful to them with their ex. And each guy is one of those keywords.
Yes.
The women, not knowing what the guys chose, are going to just choose based on the keyword. And then they're going to go on a date with that guy that lines up with that keyword.
Yeah. As
soon as they make their choice, they're going to immediately find out which guy they got. Mm-hmm. So if they're going to talk with their dates X later,
and they'll know
it's going to have to
yeah.
be in the chat room
Yeah.
because otherwise they would know who the X's are. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
That makes sense.
We got it all figured out.
But we don't get that in this episode, so we'll see.
Yes. Let's just go through. They talked about the women's reasoning for why they chose the keywords. Didn't think it was particularly interesting.
I just like that the girls are discussing this, right? And like the guys are just sitting there watching them make their decisions, and it's just silly.
One of the cards is breakup, though, which is interesting. Like they're gonna go to the spot where they broke up.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
Like honestly, any of these sound like a terrible time. I don't want to go on a date with someone that they've already been on with someone that they're still probably hung up about, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't want any of this.
Yeah, this seems really premise. This seems really stupid.
No one's gonna have a good time.
Yeah, this does seem dumb, but we're doing it. So I'll just go through these. The breakup one is funny. Let's do the breakup one first. Ji-yeon is actually kind of excited about the breakup one because she's like,
I'll fall on this grenade. I'll take the breakup card.
Yeah, I think she's excited about it because she's still hung up on her ex, so isn't really worried about like the date going well or not, and she just wants the interesting information. Like she thinks if she goes to the breakup spot, they'll be more open in talking about their breakup. Basically,
she's just there for the drama. She wants to hear the juicy details of someone's breakup.
Yeah,
which.
So the breakup, we'll just do this one first. The breakup is gonna be Wonbin.
Poor baby Wonbin. Why did you get the breakup?
Of course, no. Wonbin chose the breakup spot for his.
I also just assumed that it was going to be on a train because, like, that was their whole relationship, right? Getting on public transport.
So you think production chose these keywords and then like randomly assigned them to the guys, and then that they just had to come up with a date spot that fit it? Or
I think they made all the guys come up with dates for all the spaces, and then they picked who fit what best.
Really? Okay.
That's the way I would do it.
That seems like a lot of extra work. I would have just like had the guys name a spot they'd want to go on a date with. That's the same spot that they went with their ex, and then you just jerry rig a keyword into it that makes it not know exactly who it is, but it's still like.
But with my way, it would be double blind, so they wouldn't know who. Like, even though they see the girls pick the cards, they wouldn't know who they're going on a date with. But the show also reveals to the girls who they're going on a date with immediately, so they don't care about the secrecy. But,
and the guys also, as soon as the girls say out loud which keyword they picked, the guys know
what their keyword was.
What their keyword was. So I feel like there was only one keyword, but it is possible that they had to do one for each. But okay, the breakup is Wonbin, and then after they reveal each one, they go to a confessional of the guy describing that date spot. And Wonbin apparently got broken up with in like this nature park forest.
Yes.
That he is in love with this place. He loves this
it's one of his favorite spots.
This is, and it's the forest that they're pretending to be in.
Yo.
Which made me feel like, okay, maybe they're going to go back to this forest. But yeah, he's like he really likes this like national park or whatever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem that worried about it. He seems just excited to go to his favorite spot. He's not thinking about Jisoo.
Such a precious little sweet innocent boy. I don't know. He's just fine with it.
I don't know if Ji-yeon's gonna get what she's looking for out of this experience.
No, but she will have a nice time because Wonbin is a nice guy, and he's gonna make sure she's having a good time.
She did seem excited that her date was Wonbin.
Yeah.
I think she would have had a different reaction if she had gotten her ex. Okay, the first meeting keyword was picked by Na-yeon, and that's going to be Gyumin.
Yes.
And that's exciting.
He met his ex on a 4-on-4 blind date in a pub with a private room.
So they're just going to go back there and meet each other for the first time again.
Yep,
but
pretty much.
Are they going to simulate having 6 other people with them? That's what I want to know. Yeah, what is this? They're just going to go to a pub for this date?
Yes.
But they're not going to reenact the whole experience. It's just
I don't think so. So it's just going to be them in a private room
The exact same bar they went to last time.
Yep, it's gonna be real quiet and awkward. Yep.
Okay, because we think that's an ex couple. That's funny. And then the flirting period was picked by Jisoo, which turns out to be Mingi's date.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to a pub and they watched a soccer match.
What if it's not soccer season? What are they gonna do?
I think these two dates are gonna be the exact same date. They're both just gonna go to a pub.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do get a little Jisoo confessional. Yeah,
Jisoo. What did Jisoo say about Mingi? She said something.
She's like a bit uncomfortable with him. Maybe not uncomfortable, but not quite yet comfortable. You know, that might have a different connotation. You know,
they went grocery shopping together. They seemed to be flirting, but they didn't. Turns out they didn't actually text each other, right? Neither of them did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that might actually, that makes sense if she wasn't actually feeling comfortable, even though it looked like she was.
Yeah.
And then the first date keyword was picked by Yihyun.
Well, more like she was left with it.
But that's going to end up being Tae's.
Yeah. There's a little QR card on the back that they have to scan the code and then it just pops up a picture of the person they have to go on a date with.
Yeah.
And so she scans hers and immediately screams.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
And their first date was at a cafe where Tae worked, although it made it seem like that's when they first met, but then they went for drinks after his shift was over, right?
Oh, I thought it sounded like they had met somewhere else, and then he was like, let's go for a date at some point. Just come over, I'll make you coffee, and then we'll, whatever. Just come to the, real low effort date,
Okay. I thought he said something about going after his shift. They went and got a drink. So I thought this date was also going to be at a bar, potentially, too.
Oh, yeah. I think it is going to be at a bar, but I think it was started as coffee, shifted to bar.
Okay. I think they're going to go through both steps.
Yes.
And they're ex-couples.
I mean, except the rest of this episode.
Oh, yeah. And then, okay, if we needed confirmation, any more confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
I believe at some point Tae says something like, I hope we don't fight on this date.
Yeah.
Don't know why I would have said that. The show isn't even trying anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
Right? Okay.
It's okay. It'll not have to.
Because that was a confessional. Soon. They didn't need to show that.
Yeah, they 100% did not need to show that.
Okay. So we're not going on dates yet, but we have matchups for dates.
Yes.
Don't know when these dates are.
Yeah, they're even like, when do we go on this date, Tae? And he's like, how do I know? I just got the letter.
I am not the producer. Why are you asking me?
But there is a fun little moment. Well, maybe it's not that fun, but the girls are talking about the breakup card and how this concept is really cruel and just the art is sad or whatever. And then you have a Wonbin confessional where he's like, breakups aren't that bad. It's fine. They don't always have to be cruel. There's, sometimes you just got to say goodbye to someone. And I'm like, that's not what happened to you, but I agree with this sentiment.
Yeah, I didn't even understand the point of what anybody was talking about there, honestly. Because it wasn't like Wonbin designed the picture on the card and was like, yeah, I want a realistically looking human heart and I want some scissors going through it and I want as much blood as possible. He didn't say that to production when he said, I'll choose my breakup spot.
I think it's more like they were like, why did production make the breakup card look like this? And also, why is there a breakup card? You could have done anything else. Almost
immediately, though, they go into having to text each other for the night. Heart signals, basically.
Yeah.
What do they call this on this show? I don't remember.
I don't think they call it anything.
Okay. It's just texting time.
Yeah. And they're all like, they have to do it right there in the room while everybody's there, which is super awkward.
Yeah, at least that's how they interpret it. Except I think Mingi walks away because he's before
he was having a real tough time.
Before they get into revealing the text, they show Mingi he went downstairs by himself and he's really struggling because he says he wants to send a really good message.
I probably would have done something similar if too many people are around talking. I just cannot focus to write something, so I would have run away immediately.
Gotcha. Yeah. Some people said made it seem like they got the text that they are supposed to send a text and they just immediately send something.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are more casual about it. Yeah.
But yeah, the actual question that pops up, which I guess they're supposed to be, this is how they're supposed to pick who they're texting. It's never really clear if they're following the rule or not, but it's who is the one who made your heart flutter. Is that the same as last time? It's always just who made your heart flutter today?
I don't think it was flutter last time. I think it was like who you are most interested in, or I don't know what it was. I don't think it was exactly that, but it's the same idea essentially.
Yeah. Who you into today?
Yeah. But before they reveal the text, we get another rehashing of Tae and Yihyun about the alarm clock.
Of course.
Is this the third time? I think it's the third time.
It might be the fourth time even. Okay. Like they just, I think like
still relatively playful though.
Thinks he's being cute, and I think she's getting tired of it. Is what
at this point
starting
you
to
think
happen?
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's too much. I mean, they're like kind of drunk at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But okay. Let's reveal these texts, Sarah.
Which they also get while they are still sitting there.
Yeah. First is Jisoo, and she gets one text.
One text, not from her ex.
She didn't get one last time, yeah. So it's already different right away.
And the text is, "You're so cute." So that's got to be Gumin, right? Because in all his confessionals today, he's been talking about how cute she is.
That's what you would hope. You'd hope this is Gumin.
Yeah.
I think it is Gumin based on everything I mapped out between last time and this time.
And she has a confessional where she's like, I wasn't expecting one, but it would be nice if it was Gumin. So, you know, she's on that wavelength, and I like it.
And then let's just do Gumin next. Oh, no. Well, we'll just do it in order. Mingi's next. And he got one text also.
Yes. And it's, I like that I can see more of your charms bit by bit. But this is also, again, from his ex. This 2 days in a row where his ex is texting him.
This should be Jiyeon again.
Right.
That's a weird thing to say to your ex, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe she's like, I see you're like loosening up, being more comfortable.
Like, is she saying like, you were kind of pissing me off earlier on, but now, like, is that what that means? That's not how
I interpret it as like you're getting comfortable and showing your like real self a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, it feels like it's something you would say if you were actually meeting somebody for the first time, more than if you were their ex, though, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I don't know. I don't know how I would interpret that if I was Mingi, knowing it was like, from also, Jiyeon.
I don't even know what you text your ex in this situation. Like, it just like, hey, not into any of these other losers. What's up?
Yeah, this is actually very awkward if you think about what you would actually text somebody.
Yeah.
So it's more fun to criticize it than it is to actually think about what you should have written.
Yes.
All right. Tae's next.
He does not get a text.
Which means that Jisoo must have switched.
Yes.
Okay. I think we know where that one's going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty sure. Okay. But yeah, he is super bummed in his confessional about how he's like, that's it. I'm not cooking anymore.
Important note for what I'm going to say later.
At
the end, that Tae got 0 texts.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, at this point, I was thinking like maybe people were like super unimpressed with his job, and maybe that did not help his case right now.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, barista's more of a job you want to keep secret till the end, right?
Yes.
Like on a Heart Signal. I mean, not on Signals Inferno.
Yes.
Yihyun is next, and she got 2 texts again.
Yes, and the first one is, thank you for looking after me again. Obviously, Tae is still after this girl.
Yeah.
And then the second one, they didn't tell us what it was because, you know.
But this should
be spoil it.
This should be Mingi again, I think.
Yes.
And I hope that Mingi's text is the undisclosed one, because he said he put a lot of thought into it and wanted to say something good, and the rest of these are not good. So it's got to be Mingi's. That's the undisclosed one, hopefully.
And then she has a confessional where she's like, he sent me such an unexpected message that it confused me a bit. So I'm like super intrigued about what this message is.
Yeah, but I think she's talking about Tae's message.
Oh, but is that unexpected? That's just like the same shit he sent her yesterday.
Only because, I mean, she does just say like he, and she doesn't specify which text she's talking about, but I assume like he meant her ex in the context of the
Yeah. Okay.
confessional. And I think the idea is that like she feels like they're fighting and doesn't understand why her ex
Mm,
is still texting her. Basically,
that's fair.
is the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Because I think she wants nothing to do with Tae, and she's still getting texts from him, so that's why she's confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, yeah, they're definitely like, he's teasing, thinking they're having fun, and she's just like, we're arguing all day. This is
yeah.
awful.
Nayeon gets one text.
Yes, it says, you worked hard cooking for everyone.
Not your ex.
It's not her ex. So it's probably Wonbin
Gotta be
because he's
Wonbin.
been making eyes at her
It
today.
should have been Wonbin last time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Wonbin gets one text, which is undisclosed.
We don't get to know what it is.
Yeah. It's probably just some handy retaliation text that they don't want to tell us about. We'll find out in the first 5 minutes next episode. But also not your ex from Wonbin, so it's not Jisoo.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
this must be Nayeon again.
Yeah.
So I think they're still texting each other 2 nights in a row. And then Jiyeon gets no text this time, which is different.
Yes.
Because Yumin must have texted her yesterday and he switched to Jisoo.
And in her confessional, she's talking about her height again and how it's, she doesn't mind dating shorter guys, but other people seem to be bothered by it. So she's really hung up on her height and thinks that's the
this
issue.
confessional is actually like super out of context because like it doesn't really make sense that she doesn't get a text and then would go into a confessional and then immediately start talking about how her height shouldn't matter. Like I feel like this confessional was not a direct response to how did you feel after getting 0 text, you know what I mean? I feel like this could have been like earlier in the show where she was just talking about her height, like not
but I think she probably has a history of like at least feeling like she's not getting like people interested in her because she's too tall. So in a case where she's not getting a text and not getting pics again, I can see why she might bring it up.
Yeah, I guess I could see it. I guess my speculation is that the show is really making us feel like Jiyeon is really self-conscious about her height, but it might not. It might just be she mentioned it a few times and then they're just like keep using it over and over again in the show to kind of like make us feel like I don't know why they would want to make us feel that way, but I don't know. Maybe it is all legitimate. I don't know.
Maybe they're gonna add a super tall guy later in the season, and then they'll magically match, and they'll be like, "Look, she found their taller person." Finally.
Yeah, but she's not like she doesn't care about height. Is the idea?
Yeah, but the idea being the taller guy will be more accepting of her being tall because he's still taller than her.
What I want them to do is I want them to add another tall girl and then see what she says when people pick the tall girl over her. That's what I want to see.
Should just slowly replace everyone in the house with just very tall women.
Yeah.
And then who will they pick?
Also, is she like that tall though? Like, are the guys still taller than her? I don't know.
I am not.
Maybe I have not been really paying attention.
They spend a lot of time sitting and eating or drinking, and not a lot of time standing next to each other. So I don't have a good scale.
Yeah, we need them to ask each other their exact height.
Yes,
that's the way more interesting question than. So definitely better than blood type.
Okay.
Maybe better than job in some cases. For me,
no.
I think
job is way better.
I want to know what their heights are. And then last is Guman, and he gets 2 texts this time.
Yes.
Guman.
His first one is "Your glasses suit you well," and then his second one is "Buy me something tasty at." The name of a place that I don't know how to pronounce, which I think is where he works. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely Jisoo and Yihyun, but I'm actually not sure which text is which.
No, I think the glasses one is Jisoo, and the "Buy me something tasty" is Yihyun, because I think those match their personalities better than the other way around.
That's what I would have guessed, but there wasn't any like context for like why are they asking to buy something tasty? Like, I don't know what this Jiru place is.
Yeah, I think it's just like where his studio is, and maybe it's well known for having good food around it. Or something.
You think it's like a known restaurant near his work? So okay, that makes sense. Now that they know where he works. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm pretty confident about who texted who. I'll go through them real fast. Yihyun texted Guman. Jisoo texted Guman. Nayeon texted Wonbin. Jiyeon texted Mingi, her ex.
Again.
Yumin texted Jisoo. Wanbin texted Nayeon. And then Mingi and Tae texted Yihyun. So it's only one ex couple. It's only one person texting their ex couple. Oh no, Tae's texting his ex couple too. So it's two people. But they're not reciprocating.
They're not reciprocating, and they're also not moving on.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's time to play a game. This night just never ends.
I feel like this is how all episodes are going to be. It's just very,
at least
very long
on
days.
The weekends, yeah. Yeah, even the episode, like, at one point they made me seem like they were about to go the next day. And I was I wrote in my notes, like, okay, end of day 2. And then it was still going. Like, they came back. And they were like, oh, now they're playing a game. Okay. Sarah, do you want to explain this game?
Okay, so this is a lie detector game. Like, it's I've seen this device a lot on, like, variety shows or whatever for K-pop people. And you put your hand on this thing, and somebody's supposed to ask you a question and then push the button. And as you answer, it's supposed to buzz you if you lied or do a happy noise if you told the truth.
And by buzz you, I mean electrocute you, right?
Like there's supposed to be a little shock. The reaction that happens is bigger than I've ever seen for one of these, but I think you can adjust the sensitivity probably. They might have had it all the way up.
Yeah, so I guess this toy is like reading your heart rate or something.
Yeah,
it's like, so they put your hand on it, then they ask you a question, and then they like press a button, and then it's like, I don't know how long it is, like 10 seconds. It's just seeing if like your heart rate is increasing. I don't know what the device is actually doing, but it must be something simple like that.
Yeah, that feels right.
They don't show everybody doing this, but they are interesting questions, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There's only going to be 3 people. I'm assuming everybody went at least once, but they're only going to show 3 people.
Yeah.
So first Mingi goes, and they ask him, is there someone you want to date that's not your ex? And I think Nayeon actually asked this, like, is there someone you want to date? And then Jiyeon, like, butts in right before he answers the question, is like, besides your ex. Like, that's the information. She needs to know that distinction. Yeah, that's the information that's more important to her. I guess he could have said no, and that would have been like, okay, he doesn't, but does he want to date the ex? Would have still been a mystery.
Yeah, but at least she'd know if he had competition.
Yeah, but Mingi says yes, and then the device said he's telling the truth.
Yeah, there you go. That clear-cut scientific proof.
Did we get any facial reaction from Jiyeon on this? I feel like we didn't, but
I don't think
we would assume she would have had a reaction to this.
Yeah.
But maybe it is more of like, she's just not that into the other guys, and maybe she didn't have a huge reaction to this. Like, she's not that surprised that her ex is looking at other girls first. Actually, no, we know that she's not surprised by that, because she's always talking about how all the other girls are like smaller and cuter than she is.
And also, she hasn't gotten any texts from him, so I feel like that's also an indicator.
She already knows. Yeah. All right, next is Gumin, and they made this seem spicier than I think it really was. Right?
Yeah.
Gumin puts his hand on the device, and then Yihyun appears to come, like, touch his hand.
Like, put her hand over his hand?
Yeah.
But, like, she's reaching to push the button after she asked the question. But also, there's probably a different angle she could have come from. So, I don't know.
You think she did this unintentionally?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think she thought about it that much, honestly. And it probably seemed spicier than it was.
Yeah, she basically, like, so she puts her hand on his hand, is what it looks like. And then she asks him the question, and she says, today I felt my heart flutter at least once. Which makes it seem like she's touching him to see, like, if his heart is fluttering from her touching him.
Yeah.
And this gets almost like a concerned reaction from Nayeon when they touch hands, which is funny.
I feel like Jiyeon also, like, kind of notices it and was like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
But he also says yes, and the machine says it's the truth.
Yes.
So there you go.
But he's more likely talking about Jisoo based on the edit that we're getting, at least.
Banana memes with Jisoo, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he never said his heart fluttered in confessional, but
that doesn't mean it didn't.
It doesn't mean it didn't, but he was, very taken with her tiny and adorableness. And then the last person we get is Nayeon. It's going to get a question. And they ask her, I want to hit it off best with my ex. And I believe this is asked by Gyumin, right?
Yes, but I feel like Jisoo asked a question first, and he like just modified it a bit.
Yeah.
So I forget exactly what her
But he
initial
also kind of
question
like
was,
made
but
it suit, like he got
yeah,
more information out of it by clarifying the question, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
If he's the ex, yeah. And without hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else kind of thought about it for a second. Nayeon just goes, no. Like, no. I'm not trying to hit it off best of my ex. No.
Yeah.
No.
And the machine's like, yes, I believe her.
And the machine is like, yep, she's telling the truth. And then I think Jiyeon says before they put the game away, like, oh, everybody told the truth. As if, like, everybody went, maybe didn't get, these were the only 3, like, spicy questions, which is why they put them in the show. But, like, nobody got electrocuted outside of, there was a moment where Gyumin got electrocuted when he was testing it out.
Yeah.
And had a huge reaction to it.
Well, maybe the huge reaction made everybody go,
was too
I better
scared,
tell
yeah.
the truth.
Okay, so yeah, the game is over now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody told the truth, and now it's just they're just gonna be hanging out the rest of the night. I think no more games
no more
or
planned activities.
Yeah. We get a scene with just like it appears like all the guys except for Mingi have left the hangout area, and it's just Mingi and the girls, right? Is that what it seemed like?
Yes.
And then there's like teasing him about random stuff, like dumb shit.
Yep.
I guess this just like dumb shit that happens when people are drunk together. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of the rest of this scene is just like, I think Jisoo is eventually going to have a reaction because like she's not drinking. Like I feel like I would be exactly like Jisoo in this whole situation that's about to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's not really, it doesn't necessarily look fun the rest of the night to me. But you know, people that like to drink, I guess this is having a good time.
Yeah, she does eventually just get up and like, I went to bed because I am not interested in this.
Yeah. Gyumin does the same thing, but we don't hear that like, oh, Gyumin wasn't drinking, like Jisoo said.
Yeah, he's just like specific. I think he goes to bed first, and they like made a big deal about it because they're like, oh, it's Friday, we can stay up late or whatever.
Yeah.
He's not, nobody has work tomorrow except for Tae, so he just you know, he's just, I'm done, good night, whatever.
Yeah. But even Tae's work is like 11 a.m. It's not like
yeah.
But yeah, Jisoo and Gyumin are gonna go to bed first, so and they could be a match. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But Jisoo actually admits to this group of all the girls in Mingi that talking with her ex, aka Wonmin, via the chat room really let her like settle her feelings.
Yes. And she said she's like not confused anymore.
I gotta call BS on this.
Oh, really?
She's feeling better because she got a text from somebody else, right? Like
both things can be true.
In retrospect, after she was feeling better when she got a text, she decided that conversation was good. That's how I feel. Because we did not get any information that Jisoo was feeling good about her status in the house until after she got a text from somebody else.
Well, she didn't say that she's feeling good. She said that her like feelings are settled. Like, so she's like,
okay,
realized that he's not interested in getting back together like she maybe thought he was. And so she's like, okay, this is not the avenue to move forward with.
And then eventually the whole group gets back together, I believe. And
yes,
people start to say, since they're not allowed to ask certain questions, they just talk about how curious they are to ask certain questions. That's the thing they do. Yes. And they're really curious how long everybody dated and how long ago they broke up.
Yeah, there's some like debate on if you would be comfortable dating somebody knowing that they had been with their ex for a long time or not. And then someone else is like, the length of time doesn't matter as much as how recent it is in terms of like, you know, how weird that feeling would be. So there's a lot of back and forth on that.
Yeah. It's, you know, I think you're gonna like who you're gonna like, and then you're gonna find out whatever status their relationship, how long it was, and then that's when you'll determine how much you like them compared to like coming up with these like set rules in advance doesn't really do anything for me. I don't think it means anything.
There is some logic that comes through where some people are like, just knowing that somebody was able to be in a relationship for like a long time is like bonus points, right?
Yeah, Mingi is all about that.
They maybe don't suck entirely at dating, you know?
Yeah, and they're trying to date for a long time.
Yeah.
Which I think that there's some value to that. Yeah, they do ask a question like because they keep saying a long time, and then they're like, "Oh, what is a long time?" And I think like Nayeon says 6 months. A bunch of people say like a year is a long time to date somebody, and then Mingi's like 2 to 3 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So a little bit different on
Mm-hmm.
what they're even talking about to each other is like up to their own perspective of what a long time is. So I don't think it's a lot of valuable information, but it's at least it shows like what the group is thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do have a note here that Tae does not look like he is involved at all. He's just like sitting on the couch, like looking at his phone the whole time. And I'm just like, way to not show up, dude. Good job.
Yeah. I got some things to say about Tae when we get to
it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, not too bad. Here we go.
Okay. I maybe got some bad things to say about him.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, not positive things, but not like, oh, I'll get to it. Okay. Sure. Human's going to go to bed.
Yes.
And then we're going to start to rehash the alarm clock situation once again.
Yes.
Go ahead and explain this, Sarah, because at this point, I'm out. I'm not interested. I'll be honest. Like I would refer to this as trash drama. Trash drama. This is not.
Okay. Yeah.
This is not something that I am trying to watch in this TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if other people enjoyed this, but go ahead and try to explain what happens here.
I mean, he just uses it at a like, oh, if I go to bed, I have to wake up in the morning because I have to be somewhere, but I gotta be careful about if my alarm goes off, and that's the prompting of the teasing. But then he tries to like say that he felt guilty after she came and apologized to him, and she's like, wait a minute, I didn't apologize. It's just a lot of like back and forth dumb semantics about shit.
It's so stupid.
And like it gets to the point where like she kind of like hits him in his leg like as she's sitting like to punctuate her words as she's saying, and it's just like that's 100% not shit you do with somebody you met yesterday. Like if anybody in the house had any doubt that they have some sort of relationship outside of this show, it's become very, very apparent.
Yeah. Hey, in the confessional is still saying like, "Oh, it was cute when she was hitting me."
Oh yeah,
this guy,
you definitely get this like her confessional. She's just like, this alarm clock incident is just like a representative incident of bigger things. He keeps starting stuff with me, and he's gonna do it. I'm gonna fight back. It's so annoying, and he's just like, she's so adorable and can't hurt me, and it's cute. And it's like they're totally different mindsets about what is actually happening, and that just makes it worse.
Yeah,
because it just keeps going.
She's done with his face. She's just done.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Because literally nothing worthy of having an argument has happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone else is sitting there just like hopelessly awkward. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been somewhere with that couple that just fights, but I have, and it sucks, and that's exactly what is happening here.
Yeah, especially when you've been drinking. It's just yeah, this is trash drama. I feel like there are a lot of reality shows that are just like people, like Jersey Shore comes to mind. Like kind of shows where, there's drama, but it's all trash, right? Like it's I don't believe it's like in some shows I think it's like fabricated, like this is genuine, like they have a history and it's real, but
it's not what I came to the show for.
I don't think this is the intended.
Yeah.
When they cast people on the show, I don't think this is the intended interaction.
Oh yeah.
To have so yeah, Jisoo, this is when Jisoo goes to bed.
Yeah.
He said, you know what?
Like, nope.
This is trash. I'm going
out.
I'm out too.
And then there is a point where he seems to like call her a pig or something, or at least like tries to say it under his breath, and then she's just like, what the fuck? And this is where cute baby Wonbin comes in. He's like, no, everything's fine. Pigs are cute. They're good luck. If you dream about pigs, it's great. Like he's just trying anything to stop this fucking fight.
Yeah, I actually couldn't even tell what he meant when he said pig. I don't even know if he was talking about her or if she was like,
she at least seemed to take it as he was talking about her.
Why am I talking
so
about
it just made things worse. Yeah.
All right. What happens? I don't know. Eventually they divide the group, and I think Yihyun goes to like the terrace outside to be by herself.
Yes.
Right? And then the four people that are still awake are Jiyeon, Nayeon, Tae, and Wonbin, right?
Yes.
So Wanbin is actually going to go back and forth and like be checking on Yihyun to make sure she's not freezing to death outside because apparently it's cold out.
And he is adorable as fuck and keeps getting her blankets, and it's just like, more blankets. You need to not freeze and die out here. I'm very worried.
But it's not even an angle of like, oh, they're like, he's like flirting with her. Like he's just
a genuinely decent person. Yeah.
And it seems like it actually is cold enough that like they're worried she's just gonna like pass out drunk outside in the cold and then be there all night. That's what, and then like who knows what was gonna happen. But it even gets to the point where Jiyeon and Nayeon, now maybe this is again drinking is influencing this, but they straight up just asked Tae where he met Yihyun. Like they're not even trying to like do Tae a solid and not make him break the rules. They're just like
trying to trick him into breaking the rules. You know.
And amazingly, Tae just continues to. Now Tae, at least the subtitle said, "Oh, I just met her today," which we know is a lie because they met yesterday.
Well, then I think he follows it up with, "Oh wait, I met yesterday."
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
But he can't even get that straight in his lie.
Yeah.
But T, it does not admit, even though it's obvious at the point.
And then like Jiyeon and Nayeon are just like ignoring him basically and talking to each other about how they are a couple. Like clearly X is just in front of him being like, whatever, it's clear, we're just gonna talk about it anyway.
Yeah. Other than Wonbin, like everybody's annoying in this scene to me.
Oh really?
That's how I feel. I don't know. You just once I just could like tell people have been drinking, like they're not really like a person anymore to me. Like I don't know. That's just how I feel. I remember in like the Heart Signal season I watched, like there was one episode where one of the girls got drunk and was behaving totally differently than she did the rest of the season, and like I don't know, the host like tried to paint it as like, oh, we're really getting to see her personality now, and I'm just like, this isn't who she is. Like I don't know, at least that's how I feel when I see people drunk, but I don't know, I guess some people are into seeing other people when they're drunk, but this is doing nothing for me at this point, sir. This whole I didn't know that this was going to go to such a dramatic point when I was watching this. But yeah, this whole, from the time they're like done playing the lie detector game to the rest of this episode is like the worst. To me, is the worst part of the show.
You just gotta hold on to Wonbin's cute, like trying to save Yihyun. Like but that's the part to get you through the rest of the episode.
It's not even interesting because it's not like he actually cares about her like romantically, which is like what we're here to watch, right? Like it's just like, oh, this person's about to do something stupid and he's just trying to make her not do something stupid. Like that's
but it could be a thing that blossoms into stuff, but also I just like reinforcing that his character is very good. Like he is just a good person and he's my favorite. That's all.
Okay. Get me to him dating Nayeon. That's what I want to. That's what I want to get to.
Well, we have to go to future episodes for that.
Oh wait, who's he going on a date with? He's going with Jiyeon. Okay, I'll go date with Jiyeon. Okay, we'll see what happens. That's more interesting than this. Yihyun, she's not asleep yet, but she like is refusing to come in the house, like clearly annoyed by something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wonbin gets a bunch of blankets. I think she does fall asleep eventually, and he must be checking on her like every 30 minutes or like an hour or whatever.
He even gets like the comforter from his bed, like, and puts it out there on top of her. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This feels like something I would do, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like a huge moment to me, but I guess nobody else is doing it. So
yeah, literally nobody else is doing this.
Yeah, even Tae's not doing it. So, and then we get a little bit of talking about ideal types again with Nayeon, Jiyeon, and Tae, right?
And Wonbin. Wonbin says he likes adorable women.
Oh yeah, which means nothing, and they talk about how it means nothing because it's like all subjective. Yeah. Nayeon just reiterates that she wants somebody sweet is what she's looking for.
And she had previously dated like guys who were always very cold to her, so she's looking for a change up.
And Jiyeon wants somebody who's like stable and comfortable. And she, I think she mentioned that like her parents dated for like 8 years before they got married. And like, that is like something that she values and almost wants to have that experience as well.
Right.
Which, again, this makes it feel like her and Mingi like could have dated, you know, because they seem to be on the same terms. I don't know why they broke up. but
Yeah.
it seems like they're on the same page as far as like what they want in a relationship. It's just like whether or not, I guess, if Mingi
they don't seem to want
sees her
each
romantically
other.
at all. Yeah. Exactly. And then Tae opens up a little bit. I just wrote he said some stuff, and then I couldn't really follow the logic of it, but he's like busy all the time, and it seems like he just wants somebody to be there, like when he gets home, to like make him relax.
Yeah,
that's what I got out of it.
That's pretty much, yeah.
I don't know. We got a little like confession of like Jiyeon, like, oh, this story made me worried about him, and I don't know.
Well, he does like make reference to very clearly his relationship with Yihyun, where like he would lean on her, but like she's so independent she didn't need to lean on him. And then they split up, and then he just like had no one to lean on and seemed to have a really difficult time.
Yeah, so but what's he trying to say? Like, because he made it seem like, oh, he just needs somebody to lean on when he gets home to relax. And then I guess because she broke up with him, he thinks like, oh, I need somebody that can also needs me so that they don't leave me. Like, is that the logic?
He also said something about how he should have learned to be like on his own. And I took that as the implication of like, since they broke up, he's learned a little bit more how to be on his own, and that maybe he's ready to that's why he's ready to try and dive back into it, because now he can sort of be his own person, but he still clearly wants, just someone to lean on, which I mean, like, that's part of a relationship. That's fine.
Also, go find somebody else you can rely on.
Yeah.
This is over, bro.
Clearly not working out.
Don't go back to the only thing you know just because.
Just because you're sad and lonely. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Let's just get to it. Here we go. Wonbin's going to check on her again. We get the idea. It goes all night.
And then it's 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we finally see her up in the house at 5:30 in the morning. I don't know when she actually came back inside.
It feels like this is when she came back inside, because like she says goodnight to someone on the way back into her room.
Yeah.
So like she has not gone to sleep officially. Like maybe she dozed.
She fell asleep on the terrace,
she hasn't like
gone to sleep inside.
Gone to bed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me break this down. Yihyun goes inside. She then calls somebody on her phone. Seems to be like she's calling like a producer of the show, like whoever her like handler is for the show. And she basically asks, because she told everybody she had a meeting to go to the next day, which is today now, this Saturday. And she asked the producer or handler or whatever, like, is it okay if I go home? Because if I fall asleep now in the house, I probably will miss my meeting.
Yeah.
And I believe, I don't know if we heard them on the other end, but I assume they said that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. She comes across as like bothered. And then she like she's leaving, and then like on the way out, again, she leaves a note on the board and refers to herself as the unemployed girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Really, she's really focused on that part of her.
Yeah.
Really unimportant part of her identity.
Yeah. Well, maybe things in that front are going a little less well than she wanted, so
And then she almost like, they make her look very like stumbling out of the house, and she looks she looks very tired and maybe still feeling
drunk,
the effects of being drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't walk up the hill. She doesn't go up the stairs.
No, she walks the opposite direction.
So I don't even know what's that way.
Yeah, who knows?
And then the like screen fades away, and then next thing you know, it's the next night. Now you think this is a
preview.
You think this is a preview? I didn't get that sense.
Yeah.
I didn't get that sense.
It is 100% a preview, because it's like they're like, it's somebody's birthday. I think they like have a cake or something.
I thought they just yada over whatever the show is trying to not show us.
Yeah.
We'll see if they go back in time. They might. I feel like they might show people being like, oh, I wonder where she is, like kind of stuff. But I don't know if we're gonna get like a full day's worth of content of her not being there. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Well, I guess it is the weekend, so who knows what people have planned. Yeah. I don't know
when these dates were supposed to happen. Maybe the dates, some of the dates happened on Saturday. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see what the show does next episode. But yeah, it's somebody's birthday. We don't even know whose. It's the next night, day 3, I assume. And the doorbell rings, and Yihyun's not there.
Yes.
And then I think Yumin gets it, and he just like, he doesn't even read it out loud. He just like turns the note over so everybody can read it. And then the show eventually lets us read it too. Everybody's in shock and silence. And it says, Yihyun has been eliminated for breaking a rule. And my immediate thought was, she must not have watered the plants.
Same here. And also that's what the host said. And I was like, dang it.
They didn't say
stole my joke.
They had to go look back at the rules to make that comment. We would have been all
true.
over that comment.
Yes.
We could host the show, Sarah.
100%.
Yeah. That's the end of the episode. Yihyun is gone.
Yes. And that leaves me with so many questions. What does that mean? How does the premise is broken, right? If Tae stays and has no ex, does he have an ex on deck to be like come in and be the replacement? Or do they be like, we got to kick you out of the house too and then bring a different couple in or something? Like how do you, what was the plan to recover from this?
Do you want to talk about that first or do you want to talk about how we feel about it first?
Either or. It's fine.
Okay, let's talk about how we feel about it.
Okay.
First of all, I'll say this.
Uh-huh.
The context of this note is like, oh, we the show have eliminated Yihyun because she broke a rule.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna call BS on that. Okay.
She broke the unspoken rule of staying on the show.
Yihyun,
what you're saying?
Yihyun broke up with the show. She quit the show. Okay. And then they waited for her to miss dinner, and then they told the rest of the group.
Okay,
you know.
Okay.
But let's not. I don't. Despite the fact that Yihyun was a terrible actor at like not revealing her ex, and
right.
I don't know. We could go. Maybe I could pull up the rules. Let's go through all of them.
Oh, I have the rules.
You have the rules.
Yeah.
I think I wrote them down. Oh yeah. Okay. You're not allowed to date anyone until your final decision. I don't think we don't know. We don't think she broke that rule. You're not allowed to share social media accounts. Doesn't seem like she should have broken that rule. You're not allowed to give any information other than your name.
Everybody breaks that rule because it's too
doesn't mean
broad
anything.
and weird. Yeah.
A pair of men and women will take turns cleaning and cooking. That doesn't matter. Plants and flowers in the house must be watered once a week. Maybe she broke that rule.
No one's watered.
It hasn't
any
even been a
plants
week yet. All most participants will have dinner every day at the house, is what I assume that means. Okay. She probably broke that rule, but she definitely, in my opinion, quit the show prior to that criteria being met. But the show is trying to make it feel like, oh, we kicked her off the show because she broke the rules. Like, okay, let's not live in that world. Okay.
It's big. You can't fire me. I quit energy.
Yeah. Or it's you can't quit. I fire you.
Whatever.
Yeah. If she wanted to still be on the show, she would be on the show. It doesn't matter if she broke any of these rules. Like, the show is incentivized to keep her on the show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay. So let's just get that straight.
Yeah, that is very reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about this? What do you think the fallout of this was in the live action? Do you think it was a debate over like Tae versus Yihyun, or do you think it was like Yihyun versus the show? What do you think like the debate was? Because we're not watching this in real time, so we don't really know what the reaction is to this.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess it depends on how this next episode plays out, but it was probably a more her versus him, conversation, I would assume, because like you don't see her ever being like, I'm gonna leave the show, or this is like a ridiculous situation, or all of the conflict we see is between the two of them,
Yeah, I think that's also because the show wanted to make it seem like they kicked her off the show, but that's not.
Well, yeah,
I don't think that's what actually happened. Just like they didn't want to show her being like, I can't be here anymore. I'm out of here. She chose to leave. It's like, no, she broke the rule. Yeah. We're getting the whatever edit like favors the TV show, basically.
Yeah. But the edit is going to influence the discourse around it.
That's true. Yeah.
You only have what they show you.
Do you want to talk about Tae versus Yihyun in terms of how you feel about it? I have a different perspective that isn't really like a them versus each other kind of argument.
Oh, I just think that they're like he doesn't know how to read how she's feeling, and so that's why like he's play flirting, which she takes as like him coming after her in like a annoying way, and they shouldn't be together as a couple, and I don't think that should have resulted in her having to leave, but if she felt like she had to leave, whatever.
Okay, yeah, if she wants to be off the show, she should be off the show.
Yeah.
Here's my issue with all this. I don't have an issue with anything Tae did. I don't have an issue with anything Yihyun did.
Okay.
I have an issue with, why is Yihyun on this show? Like, I think this is a big mistake by the casting and producers of the show to allow her to be on the show. Because I originally wasn't like that fired up about this because like ultimately like I'm not super passionate about this show in terms of like I'm not gonna be offended by like anything that really happens on the show. But like in the context of me being like a Survivor fan,
right,
and how I feel if people quit that show is like it's not really like it's not Yi Hyun's fault that she couldn't handle being on the show. Like it's not her fault for being casted on the show. She should just not have been here. Like within like the first moments of them like her and Tae being in the house together, like I feel like we as an audience could tell that this was different than anything else that was happening. And like this is literally the job of casting and producers when they're casting people on the show. Like I'm assuming this is not what they want. They don't want people to be quitting the show and having a bad time because they're legitimately angry with their ex and don't want to get together with them.
Right.
Now it's hard. It's definitely harder to cast for this show because ultimately like 50% of the people on the show, it wasn't their idea to be here. It was like they had to be asked and maybe convinced to be here.
And it's like such a narrow margin of like the type of relationship that's going to work for this show that it has to be hard to like find people for it.
Yeah. My speculation is what happened here is that Tae wants to be on the show with Yi Hyun. So he invites her. And then the show interviews Yi Hyun and they actually like fall in love with Yi Hyun and like her potential as a character on their TV show.
Yeah.
I would argue like maybe she's the biggest character on the show in terms of personality and her overreactions to things and stuff like that. So the show basically probably fell in love too much with Yi Hyun and casted her on the show despite
all the red flags of their relationship.
Like the number one criteria when you're casting people on a show is that they need to want to be there. Like that and that's something like Survivor learned over the years. Like I remember, I guess it was like 11 years ago at this point, but like there was a season of Survivor where a guy was like totally like controlling the game and telling people what to do and they were listening to him. And then like after a little while, like people kind of caught on to what he was like double like talking to multiple people behind their backs and they got onto it and they basically like he wasn't like the main guy anymore on the show. And conveniently, like as soon as that happened, they found him like lying down in the woods and like saying like, oh, his like abdomen hurt, like he had appendicitis. And there wasn't anything they could do other than be like, okay, we got to go get him checked out. He might have appendicitis. And he never had surgery to remove his appendicitis, you know? So the show basically knew, like he quit the show.
Right.
But this guy was such a big personality and big character that when they had a season with returning players, they overlooked all of that and just believed him when he said, like, he has changed, and they brought him back for a second season, and he quit like 3 episodes into the show.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen this before. Like it's like, okay, this guy's like going to be such a great character on the show. Like we got to get him on there. But the number one criteria for being on a reality TV show is you have to want to be there. And in the modern era, like new age Survivor, no one has quit because they cast good. They cast properly now. Now this is only the second season of the show, and I don't know what the experience of the casting people is on the show, but I think this is just a big swing and a miss by casting, and that's who I blame more than anybody else for this whole situation. Because it's actually, I think there's a potentially a huge amount of damage for what this show is going to be going forward. Because the reason that Tae is on this show, Sarah, is because of Yi Hyun, right?
Yeah,
That's how I feel. I don't think Tae is ever going to get on the show without Yi Hyun. And the state of the show now is that Tae is on the show without an ex.
Yeah.
And also nobody is texting him. So he's essentially a non-factor on this show, is what it seems like it's going to be going forward. And then on top of that, if you look at the status of everybody else in the house, it's like, okay, Mingi spent his first 2 texting Yi Hyun.
Yep. So now what's he gonna do? Yep.
Yeah. And then Jisoo and Yumin seem like they are potentially gonna match up together. And Nayeon and Wonbin seem like they're potentially gonna match up together.
Yep.
Which means it's like Tae and Mingi to be with Jiyeon, but Jiyeon only is interested in Mingi.
So and he's not interested in her, yeah.
So as it stands now, it seems like we don't really have a TV show anymore. Other than that, like, okay, it might be cute to watch like Jisoo and Yumin date, and then it'd be cute to watch Nayeon and Wonbin date, and then maybe something interesting will happen with
They
Jisoo.
definitely have to add more
Mingi.
people, right?
Yes.
Like they're gonna add more people. It has to.
Yeah.
I think that might have already been the plan, but
I don't know.
now they definitely have to.
Based on how the hosts have been talking, I would assume that in season 1 they didn't add new people, but I don't actually know what happened in season 1. But from a producer's perspective, like, this is a disaster, in my opinion. Like, they are scrambling, and like this Korean dating show format where they have 4 guys, 4 girls essentially is like the format of so many shows. Like, it's a formula that works.
Yeah.
And now it's broken. And everything we see from this point forward, I think, is a scramble. It's not planned. And I don't know how it's going to go. I assume it's going to be okay because people say that this season is good.
They have to have backup couples ready, right? Like, you can't go into this without that. Like, that's irresponsible, you know?
I have an idea of what I would do.
Okay.
What I would do is kick Tae off the show. I'm done with Tae.
Okay.
Right? Everybody knows his ex is not in the house anymore. No, I don't think anybody's really going to be that interested in him. They tried to tease like, okay, Jisoo might, or Jiyeon maybe is feeling something because he opened up a little bit. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in Tae on the show. They can just make it like they can just kick him off and just make it seem like he felt bad about the situation and also chose to leave. Or something. I don't know. The show can make it seem like he chose to leave, even though they could just get rid of him. And then I feel like everybody, I don't know. I don't know if this idea that like, okay, some people don't have their ex in the house is really a thing at this point.
Yeah.
I would bring in another guy and another girl that aren't exes.
Oh, okay.
Like hopefully they have like 2 backup couples. I would bring in like one of the guys and one of the girls from that aren't exes just to confuse the contestants, like, because they were probably going to assume that they're exes or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at some point add the exes of those 2.
Okay.
Into the show. And it's not that hard to solve for the contestants, but at least it's like a mix up enough that hopefully the format of the show can continue.
Yeah.
And hopefully things get mixed up. They'll probably have to just force people to go on dates with each other without choosing. Kind of like they did here, where it was like somewhat random.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's my best idea.
Okay.
I mean, they can leave Tae in there and just leave him out of the show if they, because I don't know. I feel like if they just like add a girl to replace Yihyun, I don't know if that's enough. I feel like the show might just stall out. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
It definitely depends on what they have on deck as a backup. Like, there's a potential that some or all of them have a second ex that they're like, sure, you could bring this person too if the first person doesn't work out.
That would be nuts.
That would be crazy. But so, like, if he had an extra ex on deck, they could bring her in and then also bring another couple in at the same time. Then you're not exactly completely sure. Yeah, I don't think this is what is going to happen. But, you know, there's potential for that could be a thing. But yeah, I would just drop 2 couples in right away and then just make Tae go home.
They could do it that way too. Yeah. Can you imagine being the backup ex to somebody on the show? That can't be a thing. There's no way that's a thing.
I mean, who knows?
How desperate would you have to be on TV to be the backup ex for somebody on this? Or maybe you just really want to get together with that ex.
Maybe you don't know you're the backup ex. Like, maybe they just present this to you like, yeah, you're a potential person to be on this show with your ex, you know, and then they'll be like, oh, well, we went with a different couple. And then they come back, oh, the other couple didn't work out, so now we're going to put you and your ex in, or what? I don't know. There's a way you could kind of spin it where they don't necessarily know, but then the moment they're in the house, then it all breaks loose and it doesn't really work. But
no, if there's a pair of people that are exes that are backups, that makes sense. But I'm saying if you're Tae's backup ex.
Oh yeah, that's what insane. I was talking about. You could present it to that backup ex in a certain way that makes it seem like maybe
like they don't know apart. Like they don't know Tae's on the show. Right. With somebody else.
Yeah.
God damn, that's too weird. No way.
Yeah, it would be terrible. And especially with the way this whole situation has unfolded, she would figure shit out immediately because someone would tell her.
I mean, if this show wants to just be trash drama, like, it could be trash drama and it can just do shit like that. But I don't know. I don't think that's what the show is trying to be. I'm curious,
Yeah,
like,
I don't think so either.
I don't know. Like, I guess the listeners can tell us, like, did you enjoy this episode? Like, was it like, 'cause this is nothing like anything I've seen on these shows before, so it's new. So maybe it was
Mhm.
exciting from that standpoint.
This might be the fight pit all over again, where we're real not into it and everybody else enjoyed it. I don't know.
Maybe if people enjoyed this though, it's like, okay, maybe it's because it's the only time it ever happened, so it was interesting. But like, if this happened on every single dating show you watched, you'd be like, this is stupid. Like this,
Yeah.
like this is no fun to watch. Like maybe it's interesting once, but I don't know. I've seen this not necessarily on a dating show, but like I've seen this in reality TV shows before, and it's always just like it pisses me off on Survivor when people quit because like I want to be on that show. So like,
Yeah.
and I'm not necessarily mad at the person on the show. I'm mad that
Mhm.
like the casting people like let this person through.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's their job. It's literally their job to just make sure people want to be there. Like that,
Yeah.
that's the main criteria. And yeah, Yihyun, like, she's clearly going through like this in between job phase of her life, you know.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that it makes sense to me that she agreed to be on this show because she's unemployed, she's not doing anything, is probably how she
Mhm.
feels. Might as well go on the show, kind of.
And
angle.
part of what she's trying to do is be a model, so the exposure on that front is, that makes sense.
And this is
Exactly
argument.
what I always say about dating shows, and that nobody's actually there for the right reasons.
See, but I see this as supporting my argument in that, like, if more people like Yihyun were casted on these shows, this would happen more often. Is how I feel. Now, this show is like Singles Inferno is only like 9 days. You can push through Singles Inferno if you don't want to be there. But this show is particularly tough with the exes, I think. And
definitely.
If they casted people like Yihyun more often that they didn't really want to be there, I think this would happen a lot on this show.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is not what the show wants and that they are more attentive to details and know what they should be looking for when they cast for season 3 of the show. Like they need, basically just like casting needs to do a better job. This is no good. So I don't have any like blame for Tae or blame for Yihyun here. It's just like,
I mean,
if this is how they're going to act, they shouldn't be on the show, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they were allowed to be on the show.
I will blame Tae a little bit for just kind of being really tone deaf about like how she's feeling and responding to him. And I don't like them together as a couple. So like I could find lots of blame to like throw. Well, just
why is it not her fault for not hearing the tone of his teasing? I don't know. It's equally the same thing.
Just because if she understood the tone of his teasing, that doesn't make it less like annoying to her. Like
okay.
Like that's.
I think you're.
I don't know.
To me, you're forcing the like anti-male perspective or whatever here, but
I don't think that's true.
You tend to take the side of the woman on the show. I think
I think you tend to take the side of the men on shows sometimes too. So it goes both ways. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I tend not to take any side more than often than
not. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he's not paying attention to how she's making it clear that she's annoyed, and he just keeps pushing. But anyway, yeah, they don't belong together, and I'm kind of glad they're not going to be on the show now. But I do want to see all the like packages they filmed. Like I still want to know what happened, like how long they were together, when they broke up. Like I want to see all that shit we saw for Wonbin and Jisoo, because I'm curious.
You are,
and they put all the effort into filming it already. I want to, like, that's just a waste of effort. I want to see it.
I guess so, yeah. I just kind of want to move on. I don't know. This is like major sour taste in my mouth. Like, if this was like the first Korean dating show I ever watched, like, I don't know. I might be like,
yeah,
this is disappointing. Yeah. Maybe I would get to the next episode and see how it goes, but I'm not really amped up to watch the next episode after this, but I'm going to, obviously. But you said you were like, you really wanted to watch the next episode after this.
Well, because I just want to see how they try to fix this broken ass situation. That's the intriguing part to me right now.
Okay.
And also, I anticipate that it gets better because everybody said that this season is like the good season. So
Yeah, I know people are saying that it's good, so I'm gonna keep going. But if I was just going off my own read of the show, I'd be like, this seems like another trash reality show. This
Mm.
that's honestly how I would feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was disappointed with this, and it just bothers me from a casting perspective that
Yeah.
it was allowed to get to this because it's obvious. Come on. There's no way that they convinced her, like she was able to convince them that she was like ready to fall in love and like wasn't totally pissed off at her ex. Like that had to have
They
been
should
something
have
that came
like
up.
when they got really into the idea of her on the show, should have been like, but do you have any other exes that you're interested in? Maybe we'll bring him on
Oh.
instead of Tay. Like if they were really into the idea of her on the show.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But then you're potentially now you're potentially casting two people on the show that it wasn't their idea to be there. So
Yeah, but
I don't
depending on
know.
the kind of relationship they have, it might be fine, like
I I would rather see people like Tae on the show, or like whoever you think the most boring person is on the show. Like if you think, like, say you think Jisoo is the most boring person on the show or something, like
mm-hmm.
I'd rather see an entire cast of Jisoo's than like hope that somebody like Yihyun's gonna hang in there,
Mm.
Because I think the real a good TV show like should be able to just survive on its format. And the format of the
Okay.
show, which is like, oh, these like there are exes in a house living again with each other, and as long as everybody wants to be there and is ready to fall in love with either like back in love with their ex or with somebody else, like they're just in a point in their life where they're ready to fall in love, like that's the requirement to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that way about Jisoo, and even though Wanbin, like there were probably red flags with Wanbin because it's like, okay, he's really not that into his ex anymore. Like he's saying there's no
Yeah.
way. But like you can still tell that Wanbin is ready to fall in love with somebody.
Yeah. And they don't have that like sense of lingering animosity that I feel follows
Yeah.
Tae and Yihyun around,
Yeah.
Like
Like did we I was thinking about this. Did we get any indication in a confessional that like Yi Hyun
was into him
was
still at all? No.
romantically like, so she texted Yumin twice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we got any indication that she like was like super into Gumin, Like we didn't get a confessional like of her describing Gumin that I can remember.
Yeah, because all of her confessionals have been like really focused on responses to Tae.
Yeah. But I would guess that like she was texting Gumin, but there wasn't really any evidence that she was even essentially like she was just not participating in the show.
Mm.
Not attempting to have romantic feelings for anybody, like not outside of Tae as well. Yeah, and that's their job. That's their job. Their job is to weed out people like this because this is not what they should want on their show. So
yeah,
that's how I feel. I don't care about like who the participants didn't do anything wrong. They were just being themselves genuinely.
Maybe there's something fundamentally wrong with them. I don't know. Just there is a certain level that's just like, I don't know, this is not how you behave in front of people. It's just like, get your shit together, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but it's in the context of them being exes, so it's like,
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's still like, I don't know. Don't be so messy. Keep your business tidy.
I mean, imagine if you were like, I mean, like Yihyun's not forced to be there though, but like, maybe she was probably convinced to be there. Like, you're convinced to go enter a house with like an ex that you actually like still kind of hate, kind of. Like,
yeah.
Like, you're probably gonna say some stuff that you wouldn't normally say, right? Like,
Yeah.
This was definitely in the realm of possibilities before they even let them in the house. Like, they should know that this could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But where the show is lucky though is that this happened on day 2.
That's true.
They could literally reset the whole season. Like just like they could just like, I don't know how many alternates they have, but like that's what I would almost throw out if I was a producer. Just like, let's get Tae off the show. I don't know. They could. I guess you don't want to kick anybody else off the show, but yeah. I guess just add two couples, and then there's one mystery left of like, okay,
yeah,
whose ex is who? I don't know. It completely just breaks the format of the show. It's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Although I mean, we had it solved anyway, so maybe that's not really the show going forward. Is like the detective work is kind of over. It's just like now we're just watching Heart Signal with the potential of like exes having rekindling feelings when they see other people dating their ex and stuff. Yeah. We'll see, Sarah.
Yeah, we'll see.
I bet they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
These shows have a way of coming up with some way to edit it to make it interesting or make you feel either it's going to be cute or it's going to be they'll edit it to make it seem more dramatic than it is. We'll see.
I'm just in it to see Wanbin find happiness. That's what I'm here for now.
To see Wanbin.
Yep. That sweet boy deserves happiness.
Dude, Wanbin might be eliminated from the show for not watering the plants. That's what I'm worried about. Because he was the one they showed like reading like, oh, well, there's a rule about the plants. That's interesting. Seems like foreshadowing, right?
No, I feel like he'll be like, I'll water the plants, and he'll be real cute about it, and he'll probably talk to the plants because they say the plants grow better when you talk to them, and he's just that kind of guy.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's pretty much it. That was the episode. There you go.
And you think like they're gonna go back to like early day 3 and like start from the beginning next episode?
I mean, there's got to be something that happens, right? Like somebody's gonna be awkwardly flirting with somebody, right? We have to at least know whose birthday it is and have a buildup of tension of people being like, we're having dinner. Where is she?
Yihan's not going to be there the whole day, so I don't know. Like, I might almost, as an editing perspective, just like go to night day 3 quickly. Like maybe show people being like worried about her or like wondering where she is, and then just show her being eliminated. And then like if something cute happened on Saturday during the day that we missed, just like act like it happened on Sunday. Just you know what I mean? Just like if it's important, we can see it later. Or it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like you got to get through this part of the show as fast as like I don't want to get like cute romantic feelings from people and then have to deal with this shit again at the end of the episode. You know, like I just get this off my screen.
Okay.
This whole process. So
fair enough.
That's how I feel. Listeners, let us know if you enjoyed this. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a fight pit scenario.
We didn't think the fight pit was a fight pit scenario either, though.
I wasn't surprised by the fight pit. I would actually be surprised if people were like, "Yeah, this was the best reality TV moment I've ever watched." Like this.
Okay.
This is no fun. All right, you ready to talk about episode 4 next time?
Yes. Hopefully, it'll go differently.
Yes, hopefully. All right. Where can people tell us how they felt about this episode, Sarah?
People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com, tweet at us at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment on the video on YouTube also at keepwatchingpod. And if they don't want to be eliminated from the house for breaking the rules, they can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
That's what we're gonna tell our audience.
Yes, if you don't leave a review, you get eliminated.
You get eliminated. Yeah, you're not listening to our podcast anymore. It's like we made it so you couldn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah. You can't quit us. We fire you. That's how it works.
Okay. Interesting TV show.
Yeah. I think next episode will be better. It'll turn this shit around.
Yeah. I won't say good stuff this time. I'll just say interesting TV show. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.